Chapter 347, Chapter 347, Venerable Vast Heaven, 1. Chapter 347, Venerable Vast Heaven, 1. Li Lingtian found this feeling ridiculous. This place was the ancient battlefield, how could he feel close to it? However, the feeling was still present. Slowly, Li Lingtian walked toward the statue. No. That's the statue of an ancient mighty figure, Venerable Vast Heaven. Just like you, it's a martial soul at the peak of the 5 elements. At this moment, Huangfu Yuyan seemed to have thought of something and spoke loudly. Worried that something might have happened to Li Lingtian, she quickly walked to his side. As she looked at the statue, she felt a sense of respect. Paragon Vast Heaven? 5 elements paragon. Li Lingtian was shocked. It turned out that this feeling was the reaction of the 5 elements martial souls. It was no wonder that he felt a sense of closeness. It turned out that they were all martial souls with 5 elements perfection. When he heard about Venerable Vast Heaven, his face was filled with shock. The mighty figures who could be called venerables were all godlike existences. They were far from being comparable to the martial god of the divine martial continent. He had never thought that a statue of a paragon would appear in the ancient battlefield. One could imagine how powerful Paragon Vast Heaven was. That's right. Vast Heaven Knight. Legend has it that he was a super mighty figure from the ancient times. He's also a legend in the divine martial continent. I just don't know where such an expert went. Huangfu Yuyan said indifferently. She was the martial saint of the Huangfu clan of the divine continent, so she naturally had a wide range of knowledge. These super families all had some stories or books of ancient mighty figures. The things they knew were not things that he could compare to. It seems like the treasure these experts are fighting over is related to Paragon Vast Heaven. Also, Vast Heaven Great City is also named after a paragon. Could it be that this Paragon Vast Heaven is from Vast Heaven Great City? Li Lingtian's face cracked into a smile. That was impossible as Vast Heaven Venerable was an ancient mighty figure. Vast Heaven City was definitely not something that was left behind from ancient times. Li Lingtian, use your 5 elements force to sense if there's any mechanism in this venerable statue. Huangfu Yuyan looked at the statue seriously. As a warrior king, she was certainly incapable of doing anything else but Li Lingtian could. She then shouted at Li Lingtian, but what happened next left Huangfu Yuyan speechless. Wait. You're wrong. You're my maid, so you have to call me young master, or master. Li Lingtian turned around and looked at Huangfu Yuyan. His gaze swept across Huangfu Yuyan's proud chest with a serious expression. However, his words left the 2 ladies in a daze. By the time Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyu realized what was going on, they were glaring at Li Lingtian. Young master, are you having a fever? Huangfu Yuyan was speechless. She then reached out and placed her hand on Li Lingtian's forehead, pretending to check if he had a fever. You seem to have forgotten our previous agreement. Li Lingtian replied calmly with a sly smile on his face. Young master. Tang Qingyu was smiling at Li Lingtian as well. She did not expect him to be in the mood to joke about a martial saint at this time. However, she did not expect Huangfu Yuyan to actually call him young master. It was beyond her expectations that a martial saint would address Li Lingtian as young master even though he had lost his cultivation base. Yes, not bad. This should be the way in the future. Li Lingtian smiled faintly as he circulated the power of 5 elements. He then carefully placed the power of 5 elements on it. Huangfu Yuyan did not even look at Li Lingtian. She blushed when she shouted out loud, but she knew that Li Lingtian was joking. However, it was not a big deal to address him as young master. In the past, she cultivated every day. Compared to her current life, there was no comparison at all. If she were to choose the cultivation of a martial saint or martial god now, she would rather be Li Lingtian's maid. At this moment, a terrifying pressure erupted from the space. Boom! The pressure pressed down on them. Li Lingtian's 5 elements power had already enveloped the statue and it was emitting a shocking amount of 5 elements power. Moreover, a 5-colored hole appeared on the statue. The hole had a powerful suction force. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan were both extremely curious when they saw the five-colored hole. They were right. There really was a mechanism in this statue. Moreover, it required the power of the five elements to activate this mechanism. This proved that there was a powerful treasure behind this passageway, and it was also a treasure that all the experts fought for. Let's go. Li Lingtian shouted at Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan. He was about to fly into the cave when several powerful auras were directed at the five-colored hole. Li Lingtian's heart trembled when he discovered these powerful and heaven-defying auras. How could there be other powerful beings in this place? He had not even found a trace of them. How powerful were they? His body, which was about to fly up, forcefully stabilized itself. He looked at the sky above the hole in shock. In an instant, the hole closed up. What a powerful aura! It has already surpassed the Supreme Realm, but it has not reached the Martial Emperor Realm. How strange! Huangfu Yuyan's expression changed as she stared at the empty space. The aura is the aura of a Martial Supreme, but it's at the Martial Supreme Realm. However, its strength has surpassed that of a Martial Supreme. It should be a sealed expert or a demonic beast. Li Lingtian said calmly. He was still in a state of shock. If he were to go up there, he would definitely be killed. But now, he did not know where to go. The passage he had opened had actually become a wedding dress for others. He was really unwilling. So what if he was unwilling? The experts above were not people he could provoke. Any one of them would crush him to death. You're right. Huangfu Yuyan nodded. Only this explanation could explain everything that had just happened. After that, the three of them didn't say anything. They all came to this place and felt a little unwilling to leave. However, at this moment, a shocking explosion sounded. Boom! The space exploded and the space above the statue suddenly tore apart. An independent world appeared before the eyes of Li Lingtian and the other two. 5 super experts were fighting each other, and space was torn apart like this. The destructive gale continued to tear apart. Li Lingtian waved his hand and cast a simple array formation. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan entered the array formation as well. This was the only way to withstand the gale's tearing. Sister Qingyu, Yuyan, you two return to the Divine Dragon Ring first. Li Lingtian's tone did not show any signs of resistance. His eyes were grave. Given the current situation, it was impossible for him to leave. He could only watch the battle between the 5 powerhouses from the sidelines. If he left, something might happen and he would be trapped. All right, be careful. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan nodded. Then, an invisible force engulfed them and sucked them into the Divine Dragon Ring. After everything was done, Li Lingtian watched the battle in the sky like a mortal watching a battle between gods. His guess was right. These 5 martial arts experts were all at the Supreme Realm, but their auras surpassed that of a Supreme Realm expert. Each attack was earth-shattering. The 5 super experts did not have a fixed opponent, and they attacked each other, trying to kill the other 4. Li Lingtian was below and could not see any treasure that was worth the battle between the few powerhouses. Li Lingtian took a closer look as well. The 5 ultimate powerhouses were emitting a frightening demonic aura. He was shocked. Could it be that these few experts were the almighty experts of the demon race? Only 7th-tier demon beasts could transform into human forms. Could it be that these guys were 7th-tier demon beasts? If that was the case, then these guys were existences like martial emperors. Long Da, this thing is of no use to you. Why do you have to interfere? An expert who looked like a long-armed ape shouted loudly. His face was filled with anger. His long arms were like steel, and every attack shattered the air. Yuan Feng, this thing was left behind by Master. Now that Master is no longer around, this thing belongs to the capable. Long Da's body carried traces of poisonous fog. The other 4 super experts were extremely afraid of this poisonous fog. They were poisonous flood dragons, but they wanted to call themselves true dragons. Neither of you are qualified. Only I, the Flame Tiger, am qualified to get this. PH, you have the qualifications too. Aren't you afraid that the wind will hurt your tongue? Only I, Ling Yu, am qualified. Get lost, get lost. In an instant, the few super powerhouses started a war of words with each other. Li Lingtian was speechless for a while, and at the same time, he felt a wave of sorrow for being ignored by the demonic beasts. However, at this time, what he needed the most was to be ignored by a few powerful demonic beasts. Only then would he have a chance to leave. Moreover, he understood that these fellows were all servants of vast heaven supremacy. Or rather, they were merely demonic beasts reared by vast heaven supremacy. The heavens didn't listen to people's wishes. That was the only way Li Lingtian could describe it. Just as he felt that he was being ignored, he was noticed by a few demonic beasts. Hehe, humans below, it doesn't seem good to watch the show like this, right? As General Long changed the topic, the other four powerhouses noticed Li Lingtian. They were all curious to see Li Lingtian, a human, come here. Instantly, Li Lingtian felt a shocking pressure. The pressure that the demonic beast casually emitted made him feel oppressed. Please continue. I have no interest in competing with you for any treasures. Li Lingtian smiled wryly in his heart, but his expression remained unchanged. He circulated the true essence in his body to the maximum. If a few demonic beasts tried to kill him, he would deliver a fatal blow and escape. Hey! He still has some guts. A revered martial artist human is still so calm. Yuan Feng was shocked when he saw Li Lingtian's expression. This was the first time he had seen something like this. Even when countless human powerhouses came here to fight for the treasure, they were still frightened by the few of them. Wait, who opened this passage? The flame tiger felt that something was wrong and immediately thought of this passageway. This passageway could only be opened by its master, but after its master disappeared, no one could open it. Now, it actually opened automatically. With that said, she turned her sharp gaze to Li Lingtian. At once, Wu Shuang's sharp gaze swept across Li Lingtian. Chapter 348, Chapter 348, Transformed Demonic Beast. Chapter 348, Transformed Demonic Beast. Li Lingtian's heart trembled under the 5 pairs of sharp eyes. This passage was opened by me. Do you want to deal with me? There was a faint smile on Li Lingtian's face, but he was terrified. However, he had no choice but to put on an act. These powerful warriors were demonic beasts in human form. Although countless years had passed, these demon beasts had been sealed, and their cultivation realms had been eroded by time, dropping to the supreme realm. However, even so, these 5 demonic beasts were not something that he, a first-level supreme realm expert, could deal with. From the conversation between the demonic beasts, it could be seen that these fellows were deeply afraid of vast heaven venerable, and they were also facing some kind of treasure. Li Lingtian's words stunned the 5 transformed demonic beasts. In terms of strength, Li Lingtian was no match for the demonic beasts. However, in terms of wisdom and experience, the 5 demonic beasts were no match for Li Lingtian. The world in his previous life was extremely cunning and he could survive in it. In this world, he had experienced many things and had rich experience. For a moment, the transformed demonic beasts were stumped by Li Lingtian's words. Hehe, you said that you opened this passage. What ability do you have to open this passage? Silver Fox chuckled. As a fox, he was cunning to begin with. Moreover, he was a fox that had transformed, so he was naturally extremely cunning. As he spoke, he voiced the doubts of the few demonic beasts and they looked at Li Lingtian curiously. This is enough. Li Lingtian extended his hand and immediately channeled all of his true essence. A powerful 5 elements chi was released and he had become a martial honor. He had refined the heaven and earth 5 elements jade, and with Huangfu Yuyan's martial saint true essence, the 5 elements chi had become extremely powerful. As soon as the 5 elements chi appeared, the expressions of the transformed demon beasts changed drastically. This was because this aura was his master's aura. It was exactly the same aura, a unique aura in this world. He did not expect it to appear on this young human. Could it be related to his master? Li Lingtian watched the 5 transformed mystical beasts' expressions change. Silver Fox, Flame Tiger, Long Da, Yuan Feng, and Green Peng's expressions changed, but they remained silent for a moment. Why do you have the chi of the 5 elements? Silver Wolf cried out in surprise. As far as they knew, there was no other person in this world who could control the qi of the 5 elements. Don't you know why I'm here? Li Lingtian was also playing a riddle. He could not help but smile bitterly in his heart. If this continued, he would not be able to hold on any longer. He would not be able to continue acting. Could it be that you're the person Master mentioned, the one who can remove the restrictions on us? The flame tiger was the most direct. Without thinking, he revealed his trump cards in a moment. The other demon beasts reacted and glared at the flame tiger. The feeling of being sealed is not good, right? If you can't leave this place, it's impossible for you to advance. Your realm can only slowly fall. In the end, you're just ordinary demon beasts. In a world where you eat the weak, you can only become delicacies in the mouths of other demon beasts. Li Lingtian did not answer. He was delighted that there was still a glimmer of hope, but he could not let them see any flaws. As he spoke, he played with a ball of icy frost flame in his hand. The icy frost flame was constantly changing its shape. This icy frost flame was something that Li Lingtian had refined over the past few days. Can you really remove the restrictions on us? The few demonic beasts could not hold it in any longer. Even the cunning silver fox, who was suspicious of Li Lingtian, had enough of the restriction. Moreover, Li Lingtian's words were exactly what they were experiencing right now. Their cultivation base had declined, let alone advancing. If it were another few 100,000 years, they would become ordinary demon beasts. Long Da looked down at Li Lingtian with anticipation. If he could remove the restriction, his cultivation base would be restored to Tier 7. I'm not sure if I can remove it, but I can kill you all in an instant. With a faint smile on his face, Li Lingtian extended his hand and a true spirit pearl appeared in his hand. The pure heaven and earth spirit qi shocked the 5 transformed demonic beasts. What is it? You want to kill us? The few transformed demon beasts were all surprised. This human actually said such a flower, which was completely beyond the imagination of the demon beasts. Did I say that I would kill you? Do you think I'm full? Or am I a fool? Li Lingtian laughed without restraint, causing the transformed demonic beasts to be stunned. Then, he recalled that this human did not say that he wanted to kill them. He only said that he could kill them. Indeed, although the pearl in this young human's hand looked ordinary, it carried a pure spiritual energy that made people fear it. If this spiritual energy exploded, the few of them would inevitably die. Then what do you mean? Long Da asked expectantly. He had to remove his restriction. No human had come to this place before. It was not easy for him to come. He had to give it a try. He couldn't just sit around and wait for his cultivation to fall. I never make promises that I'm not sure of. Wait until I come up and take a look. Besides, do you want me to work for nothing? Li Lingtian said with a smile as he looked at the 5 transformed demonic beasts. He too wanted to know what kind of treasure it was that had attracted so many powerhouses to compete for it. That's more like it. What benefits do you want? Don't tell me you want to compete with us. Yuan Feng looked at Li Lingtian's cultivation base. He was only at the first heaven martial honored realm. In front of them, he was nothing but an ant. Although he had fallen to Tier 6 by a few realms, his strength was not something Tier 6 could compare to. Swoosh. Li Lingtian's body flashed and a breeze blew. When he reappeared, he was already in the sky. However, he was shocked. Although it did not look high, it was at least 10 miles high when he flew. Furthermore, the pressure he felt when he flew up was extremely strong. Even with his supreme realm cultivation, he felt helpless in the face of this oppressive force. However, he could not be underestimated at this time. He circulated his true essence and the true dragon body barrier. The power of the true dragon's body barrier had neutralized the pressure. This way, his body would no longer be obstructed by the pressure. In just 2 breaths, Li Lingtian was already standing parallel to the 5 transformed mystical beasts. Li Lingtian was shocked when he arrived at the top. There was a huge throne in the sky. The throne was extremely luxurious and was completely made of 5-colored stones. This throne was filled with 5-colored stones. It was really a big deal. On both sides of the throne, there was a 2-meter-long flight of steps, which was no different from a table. Moreover, Li Lingtian was shocked to find that the two steps were the thunderbolt wood and the divine phoenix wood. He did not expect that there would be such a huge thunderbolt wood and divine phoenix wood in this world. More importantly, such a powerful divine wood was actually forged into a step. It was really a waste. The two steps were covered by a 5-colored light shield, but the items inside could be seen. There was a jade bottle and a jade slip on the left side of the stairs. On the right side of the stairs, there was a carving and a strange and exquisite ruler. From the outside, one side of the ruler was black and the other side was white. Li Lingtian swept his gaze across the items before his eyes finally landed on the 5 transformed demonic beasts. "You want this thing, right?" Li Lingtian pointed at the jade bottle on the left side of the stairs. The demonic beasts only needed pills to cultivate. As for treasures, in their opinion, they were inferior to their own physiques. 4 powerful demon beasts, their physiques were the strongest treasures. This is the divine feather pill, a medicinal pill used by the demon race. It's a tier 7 medicinal pill. Long Da looked at the jade bottle and revealed a greedy expression. A grade 7 medicinal pill, and it was used by the demon race, was definitely a huge temptation to him. Li Lingtian also noticed that the demonic beast's eyes were fixated on the jade bottle. They did not even spare a glance at the other items. Divine feather pill, not bad. If you obtain this medicinal pill, you can raise your cultivation level. However, the prerequisite is that you have to remove the restriction. As he spoke, he calculated in his heart. Following a few tens of thousands of years old demon beasts, he could not be careless at all. Otherwise, he would not be able to survive. "We need this pill. We don't want the other things, but you have to remove the restriction for us. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave this place," Silver Wolf said. They all knew that the restriction on the stairs was not something they could remove, and they also had restrictions on them. "All right, I'll try. You guys step back." Li Lingtian nodded. Since it was difficult to back down now, he had no choice but to give it a try. However, being stared at by a few transformed demon beasts, he was also not at ease. If he made a move and a few transformed demon beasts attacked him, he would not even have the chance to resist. "Do you think we are as despicable as you humans?" Yuan Feng said angrily. It seemed that it had been schemed against by many human experts. Otherwise, it would not be so excited. Li Lingtian ignored them as he slowly made his way to the throne. Just as he arrived 10 meters in front of the throne, a shocking destructive aura pressed down. In front of this aura, even he did not have the slightest sense of resistance. Power of the 5 elements. With one hand and one body, a 5-colored ball of light appeared in his hand. Instantly, a powerful power of the 5 elements was unleashed. When the 5 elements' power appeared, the destructive aura in the air finally disappeared. Li Lingtian was still feeling a lingering fear in his heart. Fortunately, he had made the right bet. This place should have been created by vast heaven supremacy. As Supremacy Taitsang had perfected the 5 elements, the restrictions he had set up naturally belonged to the 5 elements. He had the power of the 5 elements and was also at the peak of the 5 elements, so he naturally had to give it a try. This attempt was a success. At least the destructive aura of the 5 elements was offset. The 5 transformed mystical beasts were shocked when they saw Li Lingtian easily neutralize the destructive aura. The aura was enough to kill them, but it was useless against this young human. When he arrived before the throne, Li Lingtian felt as if he was hallucinating that he was standing at the peak of the divine martial continent. This throne actually carried the aura of a supreme martial artist, an aura of a sovereign ruling over the world. Li Lingtian shook his head when he sensed the illusion. However, the illusion was still there. In a flash, he quickly left the throne. However, what he did not expect was that the aura and presence on this throne was not an illusion, but an innate aura and presence. Chapter 349, Chapter 349, Grade 7 Divine Feather Pill. Chapter 349, Grade 7 Divine Feather Pill. What a powerful aura. Li Lingtian was utterly shocked. Such an imposing aura was definitely what a super powerhouse looked forward to the most, because every warrior wanted to stand at the peak of the continent. He forced his gaze away and shifted to the stairs on both sides. 2 5-colored light shields covered the steps. The 5-colored light shields were also the power of the 5 elements. Li Lingtian felt depressed when he saw this. He was just too lucky. The light barrier that he encountered when he was at the peak of the 5 elements was also of the 5 elements attribute. Moreover, only the power of the 5 elements could open this restriction. He circulated the power of the 5 elements and carefully extended his palm toward the light shield. Silk. With a slight sound, his palm entered the light barrier without any obstruction and grabbed the jade bottle. Seeing all of this, the 5 transformed demon beasts were stunned. Wasn't this all too easy? They were just taking things from their pockets first. Could it be that this human was really sent by his master? Otherwise, he wouldn't have the power of the 5 elements. Li Lingtian took out a bottle with an unchanging expression as if this was how it should be. This made the few transformed demonic beasts even more fearful of him, as they were afraid that he was someone sent by vast heaven venerable. Opening the jade bottle, a shocking medicinal efficacy immediately soared into the sky. This medicinal power carried a powerful demonic power. It was indeed a demonic beast's medicinal pill, the Divine Feather Pill. Grade 7 Divine Feather Pill. The 5 transformed demonic beasts were excited when they saw the shocking medicinal effects of the elixir. They rubbed their fists and palms and were about to come forward to fight for it. However, they held back when they saw Li Lingtian's gaze. This divine feather pill, you can't use it. It's useless for you to keep it. You can't possibly keep this pill for yourself, right? Green Peng gulped as it looked at the divine feather pill without any regard for its status. Its eyes never left the jade bottle in Li Lingtian's hand. It was the same for the other 4 transformed beasts. Facing the temptation of such a magical pill, even a 7th-rank beast would lose its composure. Moreover, beasts were not comparable to humans. Humans could more or less pretend, but beasts did not. How many divine feather pills do you need? Li Lingtian did not object. Instead, he asked the 5 transformed demonic beasts how many divine feather pills they needed. Who said he could not use the divine feather pills? What a joke. After cultivating the true dragon body barrier and obtaining the dragon chi to temper his body, if he could refine a drop of Little White's true dragon blood, he would definitely become a powerful demon. However, he didn't dare to cultivate like this now, lest he couldn't withstand Little White's true dragon blood and become deranged. Moreover, he did not need the divine feather pill for the time being, but his demon beasts needed it. If he could obtain this divine feather pill, 1 divine feather pill would definitely raise their level. This. I only need 3 pills. 3 divine feather pills will be enough to restore my cultivation to grade 7. The flame tiger was stunned. It did not know how many pills were inside. Although the flame tiger was cruel, it was straightforward and did not play tricks. I want 4. I want 3. How much is inside? I want 5. The other 4 transformed demon beasts also told him the number they needed. Only Silver Wolf was the most cunning. He wanted to know how many pills were in the jade bottle. Li Lingtian had an idea of what to do after listening to the requests of the transformed demonic beasts. However, Silver Fox was too cunning and he was the hardest to deal with. What if the quantity inside isn't enough for what you need? And you, if there aren't enough, don't you want it? Li Lingtian's face revealed a disdainful smile. Faced with a few Tier 7 transformed mystical beasts, he could only choose to act tough. If he showed weakness, he would be the one at a disadvantage. This was the only way to shock them. When he spoke, he looked at Silver Wolf. This meant that if there were not enough, they could reduce the original number. Only Silver Wolf did not have the chance to get the pills. Are you courting death? Silver Wolf saw that this young human was really not easy to deal with, so he decided to fight back with his strength. He unleashed the terrifying demonic power in his entire body, and the wind in the air instantly tore apart. You want to die? If you have the ability, try it. Ask them if they can let me be killed by you. Li Lingtian smiled as he held a true spirit pearl in one hand and a jade bottle in the other. The true essence in both his hands was circulating continuously. As long as he willed it, the jade bottle would turn into ashes, and the true spirit pearl would explode. This place would definitely be finished. At that time, not to mention medicinal pills, even the 5 transformed demonic beasts would disappear into thin air. This action was very casual and not pretentious at all. It was just a light movement of the arm. However, even so, the few transformed demon beasts were stunned, and the expressions on their faces kept changing. Although he didn't say anything threatening, he threatened the few transformed demon beasts. The atmosphere suddenly turned strange. Li Lingtian had a faint smile on his face while the few transformed demonic beasts fell silent. Everyone, think carefully. Do you want to obtain the divine feather pill, or do you want my life so that everyone will die together? You guys think about it first. I'll take out these 2 things first. Li Lingtian turned around and stored the true spirit pill into the divine dragon ring. With the jade bottle in one hand, he unleashed the power of 5 elements and grabbed the jade slip on the stairs. He grabbed the jade slip easily and sent a wisp of his divine sense into it. The divine feather pill formula was also the method to refine this pill. Soon, Li Lingtian had also collected the 2 items on the other step. There were 2 items. One was a strange ruler, and the other was a jade carving. Both of them emitted a faint ancient aura, and both of them were sealed. Moreover, this seal was not an ordinary seal. It was an ancient seal that required countless materials and array formations to break. Boom! To Li Lingtian and the transformed mystical beast's surprise, the throne began to tremble as soon as the jade sculpture was taken away. Instantly, the throne levitated and a domineering aura burst forth. Li Lingtian almost felt like worshipping it. When he realized the problem, he could only quickly withdraw his mind to resist the negative influence. His powerful soul and consciousness protected his mind, not letting this negative mentality occupy his mind. Then, his entire body emitted a proud aura. It couldn't be said to be proud, but sword intent. A powerful sword intent radiated from his body, and he stood proudly in the air like a sharp sword. The sword would rather break than yield. The sword was incomparably sharp. He possessed sword intent, and his entire person was like sword intent. It was impossible for him to submit to any power. At the same time, dragon energy was emitted. Dragons were the strongest existences of the demon race. Dragons were the ancestors of all demons. They were incomparably domineering and were a powerful race outside of the 5 elements in the world. Naturally, they would not be suppressed by such an aura. Puff! Li Lingtian's entire body collided with the power of the throne as he spat out mouthfuls of blood. However, the power of the throne could never make him submit. Qi of the 5 elements, suppress, heaven and earth reincarnation technique, press down. Li Lingtian's face turned pale. At this moment, he was a first heaven martial honored warrior. No matter how strong he was, he could not fight against the throne. If he waited for too long, he would not be able to withstand it. The only way was to attack and defend. The 5 transformed demon beasts had long been suppressed by this shocking power. Their faces revealed fear, as if they had seen such power before. Swoosh! After an unknown period of time, a breeze blew past and Li Lingtian felt extremely weak. Fortunately, the throne was suppressed. The throne floated in the air and was suppressed by the 5 elements Qi and the true essence of the heaven and earth reincarnation. However, this power still existed and did not disappear. Li Lingtian used his divine consciousness to store the throne into the divine dragon ring. A few items entered Li Lingtian's divine dragon ring, including the 2 steps. It should be noted that the steps were made of thunderbolt wood and divine wind wood. Such items were hard to come by. After doing all this, the 5 transformed demon beasts heaved a sigh of relief. When they stood up, they were also a little weak. Let me tell you, there are a total of 66 divine feather pills here, but I can give each of you 5. Because I can also use this pill. As Li Lingtian spoke, a terrifying dragon energy was emitted. This was the true dragon energy. Long Da was stunned when he saw Li Lingtian's true dragon energy. How is this possible? How can you have true dragon qi? The rest of the transformed demonic beasts were shocked by the number of pills in the jade bottle. On the other hand, Long Da was shocked by Li Lingtian's true dragon qi. True dragon qi was something only true dragons possessed. He was a poison WM and had always boasted that he was a member of the dragon race. Now that he saw the true dragon qi, how could he not be shocked? Why do you have true dragon qi? Long Da cried out in shock, his face filled with shock and excitement. How can I have true dragon qi? This is my business. Could it be that you still want to have true dragon qi? Li Lingtian smiled as he looked at the other 4 transformed mystical beasts. It was time to deal with the pills and he did not want to get involved in this matter. Besides, this was not a place to stay for long and he had to leave as soon as possible. Alright, 5 is not bad. Yuan Feng was the first to answer. Although Silver Wolf was unwilling, he still needed this human to remove his restriction, so he could only agree. Soon, Li Lingtian gave 5 pills to each of the 5 transformed demonic beasts. With that, the 25 pills were gone but there were still 41 divine feather pills in the jade bottle. This pill was enough for his demonic beasts to use for a period of time. As long as there was enough time, he could also refine it according to the pill formula of this divine feather pill. At that time, the cultivation of his demonic beasts would also increase rapidly and become his strongest helper. Li Lingtian put away the pills and immediately cast the divine array diagram. A series of magical and powerful restrictions and arrays were cast. These transformed demonic beasts needed his help to remove the restrictions. It was not a difficult task but Li Lingtian did not want to be tricked by these transformed demonic beasts. Human warriors could not be trusted, and neither could demonic beasts. After all, they were not of the same race, and it was common for them to scheme against each other. After everything was done, Li Lingtian called the 5 transformed mystical beasts inside. With the activation of the 5 elements qi and his array Dao cultivation, he was able to remove the 5 transformed demonic beasts' restrictions in no time. What reassured Li Lingtian was that although the 5 demonic beasts' restrictions were removed, their cultivation would not be fully restored in a short period of time. Swoosh. This formation will automatically be removed in 5 hours. I'll take my leave first. Li Lingtian's body flashed as he quickly flew down the hole. Then, he looked at the top of the mountain before he shot up and quickly flew up. P.S. I recommend an urban masterpiece, School Bell's Strongest Expert. The Strongest Expert was carefully created by God Blessing. It is definitely a must-have treasure for modern young men. Chapter 350 Chapter 350, 10 Great Demon Kings, Ape Demon. Chapter 350, 10 Great Demon Kings, Ape Demon. The ancient battlefield ruins were also where the ancient mighty figures fought. Dishi Yuntian's face was filled with weariness. The few powerful warriors of Dishi family had followed him into the ancient battlefield, and the ones who had come to congratulate him had also entered the ancient battlefield. Tuoba family and Dishi family had planned for hundreds of years. In the end, half of Dishi family's super powerful warriors were killed. There were many other revered martial artists, but no matter how many revered martial artists there were, they couldn't be compared with the 7th level of revered martial artists. At the moment, there were only 3 revered martial artists at the 7th level of revered martial artists in Dishi family. Such strength was destined to be eliminated from one of the top 10 families. He was unwilling to accept the fact that thousands of powerful warriors had come in to congratulate him. No matter what, his Dishi family would suffer a loss. What he couldn't accept even more was that Tuoba Nan had left with the heaven and earth 5 elements jade alone. Fortunately, his Dishi family had a tracking treasure, which was why he had come to fight Tuoba Nan. However, by the time they arrived at the ancient tower, Tuoba Nan had already entered the tower. Li Lingtian and Huangfu Yuyan had also entered the tower. They naturally didn't know that Tuoba Nan didn't even enter the ancient tower. Instead, he was wiped out by Huangfu Yuyan outside the ancient tower. When they arrived at the ancient tower, the bronze door had already been closed. Thousands of experts had used countless methods to open this bronze door. Opening this bronze door was actually not their ability. It was because Li Lingtian and the others had triggered the stone tablet's restriction after they entered the bronze door that the restriction on the bronze door was loosened. Thousands of experts entered the stone steles and quickly dispersed after arriving at the mountain peak. This was also the most instinctive reaction of every warrior. It was unknown how big the powerful mountain peak was. After thousands of experts entered, they disappeared. Dishi Yuntian didn't know how many skeletons he had met. Each skeleton had a weapon and a storage bag. Seeing this treasure, the fatigue on his face disappeared. After a long time, a stone door appeared in front of him. He hesitated for a moment and carefully walked in. A cave abode that could appear in the ancient battlefield definitely had many treasures. In other places, there were also countless supreme experts who found treasures, but most of them were killed by the strange killing intent. There were also humans who killed people to seize treasures. The lives of martial venerables and martial monarchs were worthless here. Experts continued to die, and experts continued to find treasures. Li Lingtian cast the true dragon body barrier and circulated the 5 elements qi with the heaven and earth reincarnation technique to neutralize the oppressive force. He then flew up quickly. There were no demonic beasts or skeletons along the way. Naturally, there were no treasures. Boom. After 2 hours, they finally arrived at the top of the mountain. However, just as they arrived at the top of the mountain, without any hesitation, a careless aura rushed down. He did not have the slightest chance to resist. He did not even have time to react before he was blasted into a mysterious space. Li Lingtian did not put up the slightest resistance in this soft teleportation spacetime. Because he was an array master, he understood the power of the teleportation array. If he messed around in the teleportation array, he might be teleported to a strange place. If he destroyed the teleportation array, he would also disappear in time and space. Phew! A light breeze blew past as Li Lingtian landed on the ground. However, the moment he landed, he felt a shocking pressure coming at him. His body was sent flying by the pressure, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. By the time he came back to his senses, he was already lying on the ground. He hadn't even had the time to look around before he was attacked. He was really f***ing unlucky. You mother f***ker. Li Lingtian cursed as he subconsciously cast several powerful defensive spells. After he was done, he began to survey his surroundings. A terrifying gorilla. What kind of gorilla was this? It was simply a mountain. It was 300 meters tall, and its black fur emitted a terrifying demonic power pressure. Fortunately, the gigantic demonic beast's limbs were restrained and its entire body was in a deep sleep. It ignored Li Lingtian. The pressure that attacked Li Lingtian was merely the first to bear the pressure that was originally floating in this place. At the thought of this, Li Lingtian smiled bitterly. TM so f***ing unlucky. My cultivation base is too weak. No one has made a move yet the faint pressure I'm emitting while I'm sleeping can keep you safe. Li Lingtian was relieved that the gorilla had not woken up. Looking around, he found that this was a mountain depression, and the mountain depression was only 1 or 2 miles in size. Rather than calling it a mountain valley, it would be more accurate to call it a forbidden land. This was because there was a gorilla in front of them and a terrifying destructive aura behind them. The only way to leave was to return from the place where they came from. However, here, they had no idea how to return. Hey, I see. Li Lingtian's gaze fell on the gorilla. There was a passageway behind the gorilla, but it was blocked by the gorilla. If one wanted to enter this passageway, they would either have to kill the gorilla or sneak in while the gorilla was sleeping. Obviously, it was impossible. This gorilla seemed to be sleeping, and there was a slight gap behind it that could be entered. However, as long as there was a slight movement, it would instantly wake up and launch a destructive attack. I'm going all out. Li Lingtian made up his mind and concealed his aura. He was like a statue as he calmed himself down. With a flick of his consciousness, the thunderclap wings appeared. When the thunderclap wings appeared, a powerful saint artifact pressure erupted. At this moment, the gorilla also woke up. At the same time, Li Lingtian's entire body disappeared. Just as he was about to pass through the gap behind the gorilla's explosive pressure exploded and the space distorted. Li Lingtian's body trembled as he could no longer withstand the pressure. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood and landed on the ground. He looked at the gorilla in fear. He did not expect this clumsy gorilla to have such a quick reaction. In this world, nothing was lucky. Even if gorillas were sleeping, their reaction speed was beyond human imagination. Spatial imprisonment. Seeing that he had been discovered, Li Lingtian forcefully cast the space banner. In an instant, the space became a vacuum and the gorilla's pressure was blocked outside. As such, Li Lingtian cursed himself inwardly. If he had used the spatial banner earlier, he would have entered the place and his injuries would not have been in vain. He walked forward step by step, getting closer and closer to the gorilla. When he saw the gorilla, he felt as weak as a small ant. Seeing that the gorilla's pressure had no effect on his spatial imprisonment, his face revealed a relaxed expression. Finally, he arrived at the gap and was about to enter the passage. At this moment, he was shocked to death. A wave of pressure directly penetrated the spatial imprisonment and arrived in front of him. His entire person was sent flying. His mind was greatly shaken, and his internal organs were almost displaced. Lowly human, hey! You dare to play such a small trick in front of me? Aren't you being too childish? The gorilla opened its lantern-sized blood-red eyes and laughed sinisterly. The lantern-sized eyes were out of proportion to the gorilla's body. They were like two fireflies on a mountain. The gorilla did not move, but that invincible pressure automatically emitted. This saint. The cultivation of a martial saint. 8th rank demonic beast. Li Lingtian endured the crushing pressure, but with the true dragon's protection, he was able to withstand the violent pressure and was not crushed to death. Li Lingtian was stunned when he heard the gorilla's words. A demonic beast that could speak must be a tier 7 demonic beast. Moreover, this gorilla called itself a saint. In other words, this gorilla was at least at the martial saint level. A martial saint level demonic beast was an 8th tier existence. What the F***ck was this place? There were actually shape-shifted demonic beasts and 8th order demonic beasts. Humph! Rank 8. It's all because of you hateful humans that you imprisoned me here for countless years. My strength is not even 1/10,000th of my peak. The gorilla became even more furious. Its huge body trembled and its limbs moved, but its limbs were bound by some mysterious chains and could not escape at all. Otherwise, Li Lingtian would have been killed long ago. Not at the 8th step. Could it be that it's not just grade 8? It's not my business that you're imprisoned here. Li Lingtian was even more shocked. The 8th tier was already beyond his imagination. From the gorilla's words, it was not just the 8th tier. While he was shocked, he was also extremely curious. He was in a dangerous situation now. He had to figure out the situation so that he would not die in this place. If he died here, it would be eking injustice. I'm one of the top 10 demon kings of the upper realm's demon race, the gorilla demon. However, after I was summoned to the lower realm, my divine lamp was destroyed. I could only rely on a trace of my soul to survive here. In the end, I condensed into a rank 9 beast body. Later, I was imprisoned here by the despicable humans. The gorilla sighed and slowly told him about its origins. For countless years, no one had come here again. No one had ever known about its matters. It was uncomfortable to hold it in. Anyway, this human could not leave this place, so it was better to stay and keep him company. After saying that, he ignored Li Lingtian. At this moment, Li Lingtian could not answer even if he ignored him because he was completely stunned. In the past, he was one of the top 10 demon kings of the demon race in the upper realm. Even if he came to the lower realm, he was still a 9th tier demon beast. Now, he was also an 8th tier existence. What the F***ck was this? The ones he encountered were all extremely powerful existences. He had encountered all kinds of bad things. Level 8. Not to mention tier 8, even tier 7, he could not leave either. With this fellow guarding this place, it would not be so easy for him to leave unless he killed it. He was at the first level of the Supreme Realm. Wasn't it like an egg hitting a rock to kill an 8th-tier demonic beast? Chapter 351, Domain 1. Chapter 351, Domain 1. Li Lingtian's spatial shackles felt the pressure outside weaken and he removed it as well. If he kept using spatial imprisonment, he would also consume all his true essence in a very short period of time. At that time, he would not even have the strength to resist. You're a mighty person from the upper realm. I believe you won't hold it against a martial-honored realm martial artist like me. Li Lingtian asked tentatively. The gorilla demon had already retracted its pressure. This was the most ideal situation. If the gorilla demon continued to exert its pressure, he would be crushed to death by it. Tempage, you wish. I've been here for countless years, and I haven't eaten anything. I don't have anyone to talk to. Do you still want to leave after coming here? That treasure of yours is not bad. It can confine space, but your cultivation is not enough to unleash its full power. My true body is a demon king. Even though I'm only at the 8th step, I can still control a domain. In front of a domain, any attack is useless. The gorilla monster was in a good mood when it heard that Li Lingtian was leaving. It was impossible for this human to leave. In that case, it could play a trick on this human. Who asked humans to confine themselves in this place? Looking at the banner in Li Lingtian's hand, his eyes were filled with envy. However, the demons did not need such a treasure from humans. He was just curious. In the face of a realm, this treasure was useless. Unless this human reached the martial emperor realm and used all the power of this treasure, it would only have a little bit of power. Domain. The legendary domain that only the martial god can come into contact with. You know the domain. No wonder you broke the spatial imprisonment. It turns out that you've mastered the power of the domain. Li Lingtian was shocked. In martial arts, other than strength, some powerful skills could also destroy the world. However, this skill carried strength. However, there were some skills that had a mysterious trajectory of heaven and earth. He knew from the ancient books that some skills carried the trajectory of heaven and earth, some carried the power of heaven and earth, and some had profound meanings and domains. There were even mysterious laws of heaven and earth on them. The sword force he cultivated had already surpassed ordinary heaven-grade divine powers. However, the force of sword force was also trash in front of the heaven and earth trajectory. Basically, the mysterious skills in this world had a level. They were intent, force, truth of heaven and earth, profound meaning domain, law, and Tao. Although the name of the origin was different, the basic principle was the same. He had cultivated sword intent and sword force, which had already shocked the experts of the world. Moreover, there were countless magical existences above, and even these things were unknown to others. You know quite a lot, but there are many magical things that even I don't know. This world is extremely magical, and no one really understands it. Otherwise, I would have been imprisoned here as well. At that time, I was also a 9th grade existence, but I was actually imprisoned by a strange aura. Otherwise, who else could use this god-sealing chain to lock me up? The gorilla demon sighed. Even if it was one of the 10 great demon kings of the ancient times, it had no choice but to accept this fact. That was because he was already imprisoned. The one who imprisoned him was only a human. He could not even see the other party's cultivation. What is behind you? Why are you locked up here? It seems like you're just here to guard this place. Li Lingtian looked at the gorilla demon and sighed in his heart. Even the demon king was like this, so what if he was a martial honor? This world was indeed powerful, so powerful that he could not imagine it. The only way was to continue growing and let himself control his own destiny. After resting for a while, he opened his mouth to ask the gorilla demon. From the looks of it, this gorilla demon was clearly guarding this passageway. He did not know what was inside this passageway. I don't know. No one has ever been here. After I was imprisoned here, no one told me what was inside. You are the first human to come here, and also the first living animal to come here. When that person left, he seemed to be in a hurry. If someone unlocks this god-sealing chain, this will also be his opportunity. I only need to protect him 3 times to recover his cultivation and have a chance to return to the upper realm again. However, 3 times will consume all of my demonic power and lifespan. When my lifespan and demonic power are exhausted, it will be the time for me to be reborn." The gorilla demon fell into deep thought. It was as if countless years had passed and even his brain had rusted. After a long time, he finally spoke intermittently. Li Lingtian was stunned when he said that. If even the level 9 great demon could not break the god confinement chains, who else could? Rank 9 was also in existence at the martial god level. Even the martial god couldn't deal with it, let alone the other human experts. What kind of expert was stronger than the martial god? Li Lingtian could only meditate and rest speechlessly. He had been injured by the gorilla demon's pressure and needed to recover now. At this point, even if the gorilla demon wanted to kill him, he did not have the ability to resist. Rather than that, it was better to recover first. For a moment, the entire kernel finally quieted down. However, this scene was really a little strange. A monstrous beast that was as big as a mountain and a young man that was as weak as an ant. Neither of them fought. Instead, they were resting quietly. "Take back your pressure first. I have a friend who wants to come out." Half a day had passed. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and shouted at the gorilla demon not far away. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan were still in the divine dragon ring. If they were not released, something bad would happen. However, if he did not inform the gorilla demon's pressure would bombard Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan. With their current cultivation, they would be crushed to death. The gorilla demon opened its huge eyes and did not speak. Li Lingtian could not care less. He activated the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan left the divine dragon ring and appeared beside Li Lingtian. The gorilla demon realized that the 2 humans were unsightly and did not care. "What is this place, Lingtian? Hey, what's that?" After Tang Qingyu came out, she looked around. The kernel was extremely quiet, so she did not notice the gorilla demon. Moreover, if one did not look carefully, one would not know the existence of the gorilla demon at all. This was because the gorilla demon was like a huge mountain here. In front of such a huge mountain, a human could not even see its basic appearance clearly. They would only treat the gorilla demon as a stone wall or a mountain peak. However, when Huangfu Yuyan raised her head, she discovered the existence of the gorilla demon. She also saw that this mountain was not a mountain, but a huge and terrifying demon beast. This is a gorilla demon, one of the top 10 demon kings of the upper realm, is also imprisoned here now. Li Lingtian was calm on the other hand. After all, he had dealt with the gorilla demon before. The man and the demon did not engage in a huge battle, but they got along quite well. He also understood that the gorilla demon would not kill him. After all, it was truly lonely to be here for countless years. It was naturally a good thing to have someone to talk to. Gorilla demon. One of the top 10 demon kings of the upper realm. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan looked at the huge demonic beast in shock. They were extremely shocked and also a little afraid. They had never seen such a huge demonic beast before. It was simply a monster. The presence of such a powerful demonic beast in this place made one feel uneasy. However, when they saw Li Lingtian's quiet appearance, their uneasiness gradually eased. "Hey, right, this is for you." Seeing the current situation, it was naturally impossible for Li Lingtian to leave. He just needed to be safe for now, and he could think of a way to deal with it later. Moreover, with 2 beautiful women accompanying him, it was not boring anymore. Thinking of this, he took out some spirit fruits and Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan began to enjoy them. Li Lingtian looked at the gorilla demon before he took out more than 20,000-year spirit fruits and hundreds of 10-year and 100-year spirit fruits. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan each received 3,000-year-old spirit fruits. Then, they wrapped all the spirit fruits with their vital essence. After shouting at the gorilla demon, it opened its lantern-sized eyes. It gulped when it saw the spirit fruit in Li Lingtian's hand. Furthermore, it could not hold back when it saw Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan eating the spirit fruit. Li Lingtian did not stop either. He hurled a large pile of spirit fruits at the gorilla demon. As soon as the spirit fruits reached the gorilla demon, they were restrained by an invisible force. All the spiritual fruits were suspended in the air. 2 of the spiritual fruits were pulled into a huge mouth by a suction force. The entire mouth was like a huge black hole. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. As the gorilla demon enjoyed it, it kept talking. It had not eaten anything for countless years. Moreover, this fruit was a 1,000-year-old spirit fruit, so it was naturally extremely enjoyable. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan laughed when they saw the terrifying demonic beast acting like this. The large pile of spirit fruits were all taken care of by the gorilla demon. Although these spirit fruits were not enough to fill the gap between the gorilla demon's teeth, they had satisfied it once. Originally, the gorilla demon's body could shrink, but after being confined, it could only display its largest physique. Satisfied, she finished all the spirit fruits and fell asleep quietly, completely ignoring Li Lingtian and the others. Li Lingtian recounted the incident that he had encountered, which surprised Tang Qingyu and Tang Qingyu. He did not expect Li Lingtian to encounter so many things in just one day. Moreover, all of them were extremely dangerous. Next, Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan cultivated while Li Lingtian refined the treasures. There was a gorilla demon here. Although the gorilla demon might not protect them, if there were outsiders, the gorilla demon would definitely be the first to deal with them. After all, Li Lingtian was the first to arrive here. Even though there was no relationship between them, Li Lingtian had given it the spirit fruit. At the very least, they were not enemies for the time being. Time passed quickly as Li Lingtian cultivated and recuperated. Chapter 352, Chapter 352, Reaching an Agreement. Chapter 352, Reaching an Agreement. Half a day passed quickly. At this moment, the entire mountain peak began to tremble. Boom, boom. Muffled sounds came from the passage behind the gorilla demon, and it was very far away. After this situation appeared, the gorilla demon also became furious. He did not expect such a commotion to actually occur in the passageway. Gorilla demon, I'll think of a way to unlock your god-sealing chains. The prerequisite is that you have to listen to me. Otherwise, you'll forever be stuck in this place. Think about it. How about it? Li Lingtian began to feel anxious. If he were to be trapped in this place while others were fighting for the treasure, it would be a joke. Moreover, this was a good opportunity. If he could reach an agreement with this gorilla demon, it would be a good thing. He had also heard the gorilla demon say that as long as he undid this god-sealing chain, he could leave this place and help others 3 times. If he could obtain the help of this gorilla demon, he would definitely be able to solve many problems with the help of a martial Saint Realm demon beast 3 times. When he left, he said that I would help someone 3 times. If you can remove this god-sealing chain, I will naturally help you 3 times. What else do you want? The gorilla demon was also extremely anxious and excited. If he could leave this place and recover his cultivation, he would have a chance to return to the upper world. However, judging from the words of this human in front of him, it shouldn't be as simple as 3 attacks. Moreover, it also wanted to know what method the human who had unlocked the god-sealing chains had to recover his cultivation. He didn't want to be fooled by that guy's joke. I do have some ideas about this god-sealing chain. But if you leave, no one in this world will be able to suppress you. If you do anything reckless, won't I become the culprit of mankind? Therefore, if I remove the god-sealing chains, you have to listen to me. Similarly, you only need to make a move 3 times. Moreover, I can also let you recover to the peak of the 9th level and return to the upper realm. You should be suspecting that I have some method to recover your cultivation, right? Li Lingtian had a serious expression on his face. As he spoke, he looked at the gorilla demon's eyes. The gorilla demon's eyes were filled with curiosity. He also knew that this gorilla demon was doubting his ability. After saying that, he circulated his true essence. The true dragon body barrier was activated. Instantly, a shocking demonic power soared into the sky. This demonic power was completely terrifying dragon chi. True dragon chi. Dragon chi continuously filled the air, and the gorilla demon's eyes emitted a look of surprise. Dragon Chi. True Dragon Chi. The gorilla monster was shocked when it saw Li Lingtian's shocking dragon energy. The human's cultivation base was not high, but the dragon energy was shocking. In terms of cultivation, it was not something that human could compare to. However, the purity of this dragon energy shocked it. Such pure dragon energy could only be possessed by the true dragon clan. That's right. If I give you the dragon energy of a world and the blood of a true dragon, think about it. Can you recover your cultivation? Li Lingtian continued to tempt her. In fact, he had already thought about it. If the dragon energy was combined with the true dragon's blood, it should be able to restore the demonic beast's cultivation base. This demonic beast was only at level 8 or level 9. Given how powerful a true dragon was, this small problem should be easily resolved. True dragon's blood. Do you really have the blood of a true dragon? Are you from the dragon clan? The gorilla demon could no longer sit still. If he really had the true dragon's blood and true dragon chi, his cultivation would definitely recover. Forget about recovering, if his luck was good, he would definitely surpass his peak cultivation realm back then. However, he was extremely suspicious of this young man in front of him. How could a human possess the blood and chi of a true dragon? Dragon clan, you can say so. I have a little friend who is a dragon. I can be considered a dragon too. Li Lingtian extended his hand and the roaring dragon combat halberd appeared in his hand. The roaring dragon combat halberd represented the dragon tribe's most valuable treasure. Furthermore, he had the divine dragon ring in his hand. All of this was enough to prove his identity and status. Roaring dragon battle halberd. That's right. The raw dragon battle halberd is the most precious treasure of the dragon clan. Only the clan leader of the dragon clan can keep it. Although I don't know how you got the raw dragon battle halberd, I believe you have a good relationship with the dragon clan. The gorilla demon became excited. The strength of the dragon race was something that any demon race had to worship because the dragon race was the strongest existence in the demon race. Alright, I'll listen to you. I'll help you 3 times, but after 3 times, you have to give me the true dragon blood and true dragon chi. Take this wisp of soul. I hope you won't be like that guy in front of you. The gorilla monster was extremely anxious when it saw Li Lingtian's appearance and the commotion in the tunnel behind him. Following that, he forcefully summoned a wisp of his soul and it floated toward Li Lingtian. The gorilla demon's eyes revealed a pained expression after its soul was released. Li Lingtian did not expect the gorilla demon to release a wisp of its soul. In that case, his fate was in his hands. It seemed like the gorilla demon was going all out for the true dragon's blood and freedom. Li Lingtian did not hesitate as he quickly refined and controlled the wisp of soul. As long as the gorilla demon did not deal with him, he would not touch the green soul. This was also the agreement between them. In fact, the gorilla demon saw that Li Lingtian possessed the true dragon's chi. The humans who were with the dragon tribe were not necessarily cunning and despicable. Rumble. Rumble. In the depths of the mountain, there was a huge palace. The palace was complicated and it was completely a maze. If one was not familiar with this place, they would definitely be trapped here. In the center of the palace, 5 powerful Supreme Realm experts were fighting each other. It was a desperate fight. This was because in the ancient palace, there were many mighty and domineering weapons floating. The weapons were 5 inches wide and 4 feet long, and there was a purple crystal on the handle. The entire weapon emitted a shocking domineering aura. Just this aura alone was enough to make one's heart tremble. Moreover, the weapon carried a slight sound of wind, and the sound of wind carried thunder. When the 5 super experts clashed, the weapons were surrounded by a faint light, and they could not touch the weapons at all. Dishi Yuntian, let's see how long you can last in the 7th sky. Yu Bufeng sat alone in a corner. Dishi Yuntian sat in a corner, when Yunfeng and Lai Xie sat in a corner. On the other side, there was also a level 6 powerful warrior from Dishi family. For a moment, the 2 supreme realm warriors of Dishi family were facing the attacks of Yu Bufeng and the other 2. The moon is not sealed, yet the Queen's Palace has actually joined forces with other factions. This is the first time I've heard of such a thing. If they have the ability, they can fight for this treasure. Dishi Yuntian looked at the 3 Supreme Realm warriors in front of him. One of them was at the 7th level of Supreme Realm, while the other 2 were at the 4th or 5th level. However, the other party's strength was deep and terrifying, far beyond his imagination. The battle had been going on for so long, but he still hadn't gained the upper hand. Moreover, they had also encountered powerful gliding demon beasts outside. If they were chased by the transformed demon beasts, this weapon would not belong to them, and they would have to leave their lives here. Damn it. At this moment, the weapon floating in the palace was actually sucked away by a suction force and finally fell into the hands of a young man. When the 5 Supreme Realm experts saw this scene, they were all shocked and furious. The few of them were risking their lives, but someone else had taken the lead. What shocked them was that the radiance of this weapon was something that they could not break even after using countless techniques. They could not get their hands on the weapon either. They did not expect that someone would take it away so easily. The 5 of them looked at the young man with a weapon in his hand and were stunned. It's you. That's possible. Didn't you die? How did you reach the 1st level of the Supreme Realm? Impossible, impossible. The 5 of them exclaimed when they saw the young man who had put away his weapon. This was because they had witnessed Li Lingtian being imprisoned and even his 5 elements martial soul being extracted. He was on the verge of death. Even if he didn't die, it was impossible for him to cultivate. Dishi Yuntian was even more shocked. He had witnessed Li Lingtian's death with his own eyes. How could Li Lingtian appear here in one piece and even become a martial honor? Also, where did Tuoba Nan go? All of this made the experts extremely puzzled. Haha, Dishi family is destined to be destroyed. You destroyed me, but you also helped me achieve my goal. After Li Lingtian finished his sentence, he unleashed the astonishing 5 elements power. This 5 elements power carried a destructive intent. The 5 of them were shocked when they saw it. This 5 elements power was tens of thousands of times more powerful than the 5 elements martial soul from before. Beside him, Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyu also looked at Dishi Yuntian with hatred, because they had all been tricked by the Dishi family. Dishi family is very powerful, indeed. When you were dealing with him, you already knew that the Dishi family would be destroyed, because you have the heaven and earth 5 elements jade and eye. Do you want to know where Tuoba Nan went? He vanished into thin air outside the ancient tower. Although I sealed my cultivation, I can remove it. Although I paid a price, it was worth it. When you used the heaven and earth 5 elemental jade, you were destined to fail. Huangfu Yuyan said lightly. The hatred on her face turned into a smile because she saw the imminent destruction of the Dishi family, which also helped Li Lingtian. Naturally, Li Lingtian did not know that Huangfu Yuyan had already planned to reverse the martial saint's true essence to help Li Lingtian when he was imprisoned by the heaven and earth 5 elements jade. However, she had to wait for Li Lingtian's 5 elements martial soul to fuse with the heaven and earth 5 elements jade. Hearing Huangfu Yuyan's words, the 5 powerful revered martial artists were all shocked. They had never thought that everything that the Dishi family controlled would be defeated by someone else. Fortunately, he didn't offend this martial saint. Judging from the current situation, Dishi family was really finished. Li Lingtian was extremely touched. He did not expect Huangfu Yuyan to have already made arrangements for him when he was defeated. She just did not say it out loud. The winner is noble, the loser is bandit. If you want to destroy Dishi family, you will die here first. Dishi Yuntian felt extremely regretful. He didn't expect that everything that he had planned so carefully would be lost so miserably. With that, a shocking attack was launched at Li Lingtian. At the same time, another Dishi family powerhouse attacked Li Lingtian as well, intending to kill the young man in one blow. In the blink of an eye, 2 devastating attacks arrived before Li Lingtian. Chapter 353, Chapter 353, Killing Dishi Yuntian. Chapter 353, Killing Dishi Yuntian. One was at the 6th level of the Supreme Realm, and the other was at the 7th level of the Supreme Realm. Even if the other party was at the 7th level of the Supreme Realm, they would still be severely injured. However, They were shocked to find that Li Lingtian had no intention of making a move at all. Instead, he moved his body forward and stood in front of Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyu. A protective shield appeared on his body, protecting his entire body. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, there was an explosion as two attacks landed on Li Lingtian's body. His protective shield trembled but was not shattered. With this, the few powerful Supreme Realm experts could no longer sit still. They did not know what fortuitous encounter Li Lingtian had to achieve the rank of a martial honored, but they did not expect him to possess such a strong physical defense at the first heaven of a martial honored. It was not that Li Lingtian did not react in time. Instead, he ignored the attacks of the two revered martial artists and used his own defense to withstand their powerful attacks. With such confidence, no one dared to try. Not to mention a level 1 Supreme Realm expert, even a level 7 or 8 Supreme Realm expert would not dare to use a protective shield to withstand the bombardment of a level 7 or level 6 Supreme Realm expert. However, Li Lingtian had managed to do it without even breaking his protective shield. What a terrifying defense. First level martial honored realm. Even a demon cultivator can't be so powerful. Yu Bufeng and Wen Yunfeng cried out in surprise. The stronger their cultivation base was, the more they understood the power of this attack. Such a powerful attack was not even able to break through Li Lingtian's defense. What kind of concept was this? Naturally, they did not know that Li Lingtian's strength had skyrocketed after he became a martial honor. Not only was his true dragon body barrier incomparably powerful, but he also had another powerful existence, the limitless feathercoat, a treasure of the fairy clan's divine master. It was an existence akin to a supreme divine artifact. He had refined the limitless feathercoat and put it on. Coupled with his true dragon body protection, he could withstand any martial honored realm expert as long as they were not at the 9th heaven. However, this was under the premise that he did not use a holy weapon level treasure. If a martial honor used a holy weapon, not to mention a 7th heaven, even a 5th heaven would be able to severely injure him. Now, as long as it wasn't an expert of the 8th or 9th heaven, he could fight without any worries. He didn't have to worry about the sneak attacks of other experts. Fancy punches but useless legs. Li Lingtian snorted and glanced at Dishi Yuntian and the other man with disdain. The powerful 7th level martial honored realm could not kill him now. Now that the initiative was in his hands, there was a gap between the 1st level and the 7th level of the Supreme Realm. However, with the addition of treasures and skills, he was not afraid of the 7th level. Try the 3rd layer of the Icefire 9 layers of heaven. Extermination. After Li Lingtian finished speaking, he raised his hands and joined them together in an instant. A beam of light shot toward Dishi Yuntian and the other man. Now, he had cast Icefire 9 heavens instantly. In the air, the aura of destruction and death filled the palace. Moreover, within this aura of death and destruction, there was also a violent aura of extermination. Yu Bufeng, Wen Yunfeng, and Lai Xie were all extremely shocked. A while ago, Li Lingtian's powerful technique had killed 3 revered martial artists in an instant. Even though their martial souls were eventually extracted by the imprisonment, it was strangely fine now. Moreover, his current strength was even more terrifying. Compared to a period of time ago, it was completely different. The power of one strike had exceeded their imaginations. Rumble. With a shocking explosion, the palace was almost destroyed. A blood-spurting noise was heard. Dishi Yuntian was sent flying out, and didn't stop until he hit the stone wall of the palace. However, the other 6th level martial honored realm warrior wasn't so lucky. He was killed by the Icefire 9th level warrior. The destructive halo spread out and swept through the entire palace. Wherever the halo passed, everything was destroyed. The defenses of Yu Bufeng and the other 2 were almost shattered. The expression on his face kept changing. Just the aftershock was so destructive. The aftershock was equivalent to a full-force attack from a 2nd level martial honored realm expert. If he was in the center of the attack, would he be able to withstand it? The power of the Azure Dragon. Li Lingtian did not pause for even a moment. With a flash, his body was like a dragon as he arrived before Dishi Yuntian in a split second. The destructive dragon energy exploded in the air and pressed down on him. Li Lingtian waved his hands and 3 dragons spiraled toward him. Rumble. Boom. Boom. A series of explosions sounded as the 3 dragons struck Dishi Yuntian. Although Dishi Yuntian was injured, he was still a powerful 7th Sky Warrior. Even the dragons couldn't kill him in a short time. At that moment, Li Lingtian's expression faltered as the murderous intent in his eyes intensified. Ice Flame. Desolate 10 consecutive strikes. A ball of ice flame flew towards Dishi Yuntian. With the attack of the 3 dragons, Dishi Yuntian could only watch the ice flame burning his body. Yu Bufeng and the other 2 had also noticed something was amiss. After Li Lingtian had performed his first move, he had performed 2 terrifying killer moves consecutively. Something must have gone wrong. Otherwise, he would not be in such a hurry to kill Dishi Yuntian. Huala. In the air, the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber had already been unleashed. The destructive pressure continuously tore apart the space of the palace. 10 desolation consecutive strikes was executed, and 10 saber rays slashed down. Each saber ray was stronger than the previous one, and the 10 saber rays were all together, like a wave. Along with a slight noise, Dishi Yuntian was cut into 2 halves. The cold ice flame on his body was still burning. At this moment, the old dragon crushed the 2 halves of his body. Li Lingtian grabbed the storage pouches of the 2 Dishi family powerhouses with one hand. Then, a halo of light swept up the 2 women beside him and they flew toward the palace's passageway. When Li Lingtian left, Yu Bufeng and the other 2 realized that something was amiss as a destructive demonic energy rushed toward them. The strength of this demonic energy was definitely not something a martial honor could compare to. If he didn't escape quickly, he would die without a burial place. At the same time, they were shocked. They did not expect Li Lingtian to be able to sense danger from afar in the middle of a great battle. His divine sense and agility made them feel apprehensive. This was because, in addition to having an extremely strong cultivation base, a powerhouse also needed a powerful divine sense and even more so, an agile reaction ability. This young man's agility was absolutely terrifying. When facing a level 7 expert, he was still able to take the initiative and easily kill him. Among them, Li Lingtian had killed Dishi Yuntian with his terrifying strength. Another reason was that Dishi Yuntian was caught off guard. Li Lingtian had killed the powerful warriors of the Dishi family and wounded him. This kind of blow had stunned Dishi Yuntian. This was enough to save him. In addition, Li Lingtian's last 2 attacks were the terrifying ice flame that was rarely seen by warriors and the powerful heaven-rank divine ability. In their imagination, this move had already surpassed the scope of heaven-rank divine abilities. You're late. Just as Li Lingtian and the others were leaving, a super powerhouse who was covered in poisonous mist arrived at the palace. When he saw that everything in the palace had been destroyed, his face was filled with rage. With a flick of his divine perception, he quickly chased after Li Lingtian and the others. Li Lingtian led Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan as they sprinted forward. He had no idea where they were going. Roar. There was a loud roar. It was unclear whether it was a human or a demonic beast's roar. Upon hearing this sound, Li Lingtian's expression changed drastically. His movement technique became even faster, and in the blink of an eye, he flew several kilometers faster than the front. Sir Lingtian, do you know what that thing is? Lai Xie, who was sprinting at the back, asked Li Lingtian who was flying in front. He was extremely curious. It's best if you don't fight for it, lest you're afraid. Li Lingtian did not turn around. Instead, he accelerated his flight with a faint smile in his voice. Lai Xie, who was standing behind him, heard this voice. He was not happy about it. He had actually been fooled by a first heaven martial artist. However, he did not dare to get angry. This first heaven young man was too terrifying. It can't be. What haven't I seen before? I can't be scared by an unknown demon beast, right? Lai Xie chuckled. This way, he would be able to find a way out. The one at the back is indeed terrifying to those below. However, to an expert like Brother Lai, it's naturally nothing. There's only a transformed demonic beast behind us. Li Lingtian replied calmly. He did not turn around to look at Lai Xie's expression as he was actually laughing in his heart. In a flash, his body covered hundreds of meters, and he quickly flew toward the end of the tunnel. What? Transformed demonic beast. This time, not only Lai Xie, even when Yunfeng and Yu Bufeng cried out in surprise. Their faces turned ashen. What kind of luck was this? It was actually a demonic beast that had transformed. They naturally knew what a shape-shifting demonic beast represented. A shape-shifting demonic beast was a 7th-tier demonic beast, and a 7th-tier demonic beast was equivalent to a martial supreme. Everything below the martial supreme realm was an ant. Even a martial supreme realm expert was just a slightly larger ant in front of a martial supreme realm expert. This Li Lingtian was way too scary. He actually knew that it was a tier 7 transformed demonic beast. It seemed that he had come into contact with this transformed demonic beast before, or else he would not be so familiar with it. Those who could escape from the hands of a transformed demon beast were not simple characters. Roar. With another roar, a destructive demonic power instantly blasted over. At the same time, Li Lingtian summoned Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan into the divine dragon ring to withstand the destructive attack. He staggered and spat out a mouthful of blood. It was already heaven-defying that he did not kill a demon beast in one move. When Yunfeng and Lai Xie also spat out a mouthful of blood. Only Yu Bufeng, who was at the 7th sky, was able to resist for a moment. However, his expression was also grave and pale. Lai Xie and Wen Yunfeng were even more shocked when they saw that Li Lingtian was only injured. With the same power, the 4 of them suffered the same attack. However, Li Lingtian did not put up any defense at all. Both of them had cast their powerful defensive treasures, but the damage they received was almost the same. The difference between them was too great. Even if they did not think about their cultivation base and strength, this defense alone was enough to make them feel wary. At this moment, their eyes shifted to the figure in the distance, and their expressions changed drastically. Chapter 354, The Poisonous Flood Dragon, 1. Chapter 354, The Poisonous Flood Dragon, 1. His figure flashed and stopped 100 meters away from the 4 of them. Li Lmjishan was astonished. He did not expect that this fellow's cultivation base had not recovered. It was truly strange. It seemed that he was in trouble this time. Long Da was that poisonous flood dragon. It was clearly a poisonous flood dragon, but it called itself a dragon. Sir, we have nothing to do with you. Why are you making things difficult for us? Lai Xie's heart trembled when he saw Long Da's violent aura. How could he not be afraid of this human who looked like him when Li Lingtian mentioned his demonic beast form? Transformed demonic beasts were existences that could crush a supreme realm expert to death with a casual pinch. As he spoke, he dragged Li Lingtian and the others into the fray. Even if they were to suffer, they would suffer together. Yu Bufeng, Li Lingtian, and Wen Yunfeng's faces were filled with disdain upon hearing Lai Xie's words. However, what happened next completely exceeded their imaginations. Get lost. Long Da shouted fiercely at Lai Xie, not even looking at him. In front of a transformed demonic beast, a supreme realm expert did not even have any dignity. Long Da's eyes then turned to Li Lingtian with a fierce gaze as if he wanted to eat him alive. Whoever has the wind lightning annihilation slash, take it out and I'll spare your lives. Long Da scanned the 4 of them. The treasures were stored in the storage bag, so he naturally couldn't find any aura. Sir, is the wind lightning annihilation slash you mentioned the weapon in the center of the palace? Initially, Lai Xie was displeased. However, since the weapon was not in his possession, he could shift the fury of the transformed demonic beast onto Li Lingtian. In this way, Li Lingtian would become the target of his attack and his humiliation would be lessened a little. After all, if they wanted to be humiliated, they would be humiliated together. This way, they would not feel embarrassed. That's right. If you take out the wind lightning extermination slash, I'll spare your life. When Long Da heard the whereabouts of this human who looked like the Tempest Annihilation, he didn't care about the fact that he had looked down on this human just now. Instead, he looked at Lai Xie with a sharp gaze. Sir, the The Wind Lightning Annihilation Slash is in Sir Ling Tian's hands. I believe Sir Ling Tian won't take out such a treasure, right? With a fawning smile on his face, Lai Xie looked at Li Lingtian. This situation immediately caused Yu Bufeng and Wen Yunfeng to feel contempt. There was actually such a person. Even if they wanted to live, they had to look at the place. At this moment, even if the other party obtained the treasure, if they did not join forces, they would still be killed. Right now, the battle had yet to begin, and this Lai Xie had already started to have internal strife. However, when they saw Li Lingtian's expression, they were puzzled. He was still so calm and composed at this time. He was really able to sit still. Do you think I can take out something that has entered my hands? Li Lingtian replied indifferently as he stared at Lai Xie with a cold gaze. The smile on his face grew wider. Sure. The three martial honor powerhouses exhaled a breath of cold air. It was obvious that Li Lingtian would not agree to hand over the treasure by saying such words. He was going against the humanoid demonic beast. This was suicide. However, something even more shocking happened. At this moment, they could not understand why. I was just about to give you this wind lightning god-destroying slash. I didn't expect you to take it first. This is what I wanted. Long Da glared coldly at Lai Xie before his gaze fell on Li Lingtian. He had a faint smile on his face. He had not expected this outcome. Had the world gone mad for the humanoid demonic beast to give this treasure to Li Lingtian? Even if they were fools, they could tell that the humanoid mystical beast was trying to curry favor with Li Lingtian. A powerful Tier 7 mystical beast was trying to curry favor with a first heaven martial honored warrior. What kind of world was this? If you have something to say, just say it. Li Lingtian was taken aback as well. He then realized that the god-destroying tempest slash could not be used on demonic beasts. Moreover, looking at Long Da's appearance, he must have come to find him for something. He had already guessed a little, but he was not sure. Now that he heard Long Da's words and the expression on his face, he could confirm it now. Get lost. Do you want me to invite you or do you want me to stay here forever? Seeing that Li Lingtian had figured out his motive, Long Da did not continue to speak. He glared at Yu Bufeng and the other two with a fierce gaze and roared, almost breaking their minds. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, the hearts of the three of them trembled. How could a martial honor withstand the anger of a 7th-tier demonic beast? He reacted slightly and his body quickly flashed. With such an opportunity to leave, he would be a fool not to escape. In the blink of an eye, the three Supreme Realm powerhouses disappeared, leaving Li Lingtian and Long Da alone in the passageway. Why hasn't my cultivation recovered yet? Their cultivation is almost at the 7th step. Did you do something? Long Da asked loudly after the others left. He was the only one who showed no signs of movement as he watched his four companions gradually recover their cultivation base. After searching for a whole day, he finally found Li Lingtian when he noticed some movement on the surface. Your cultivation hasn't recovered because you're cultivating the dragon race's cultivation technique, and it's also an incomplete cultivation technique. And you're only from the Flood Dragon race, so you have a problem with yourself. Li Lingtian scanned Long Da's body with his divine perception before coming to a conclusion. Instantly, Long Da was about to explode in anger. He hated it when people said that he wasn't a dragon. However, he could only endure it when he asked this young man in front of him. Then what can we do? Long Da held it in for a moment before he finally asked Li Lingtian. He was a little doubtful whether this human was telling the truth. There is a way, but not now. Li Lingtian spoke calmly as he unleashed all the dragon energy in his body. The pure dragon energy suppressed the passage with destructive power, causing Long Da to be shocked as if he had seen a ghost. He did not expect Li Lingtian to have dragon energy, and it was the true dragon energy. True dragon chi was the aura of the true dragon clan. Li Lingtian actually possessed true dragon chi. If he could obtain the true dragon chi, he could also become a true dragon. Long Da was from the Flood Dragon race, so he was naturally clear about the dragon chi. The dragon chi displayed by this human in front of him was definitely the purest dragon chi in the world. This dragon chi was not only cultivated, but also innate. How could a human possess dragon energy? This was what he was shocked about. What he was looking forward to more was how this human possessed dragon energy. How good would it be if he obtained dragon energy? True dragon chi? Where did you get the true dragon chi? Long Da looked at Li Lingtian with a serious expression on his face. He unleashed all the demonic power in his body. If Li Lingtian did not tell the truth, he might have to use his powerful strength to force Li Lingtian. After all, dragon energy was too important to him. Isn't it just true dragon chi? Li Lingtian replied calmly, ignoring the terrifying demonic power emanating from Long Da's body. If he was still a martial emperor, he would not have dared to provoke him. However, he was now a martial honor and Long Da's cultivation was only at the martial honor level. Hence, he was not afraid of him. Moreover, even if he could not defeat Long Da, there was still the gorilla demon. The gorilla demon's strength was enough to crush everything. Although he had wasted an opportunity to attack, this opportunity was used when he was in danger. If he had become stronger, he would naturally not have needed the gorilla demon to attack. Can you give me some true dragon chi? Long Da was rendered speechless by Li Lingtian's nonchalant attitude. In front of this human, he felt like he had punched into cotton. Then, his attitude softened. He knew that he had been hit on the soft spot. Of course I have dragon energy, and I also have the blood of a true dragon. However, I naturally won't take out such an item so easily unless you follow. I'll help you increase your strength. Li Lmjishan had a faint smile on his face as he looked at Long Da. Although the poison WM was only at tier 6, it was a tier 7 existence previously. He was currently lacking helpers. If this poison flood dragon followed him, it could also help him solve many problems. True dragon's blood. How can I believe what you said? The flood dragon was shocked by the blood of the true dragon, but it didn't say anything about following it. Looking at the situation, it was obvious that it cared about the blood of the true dragon. Whether it was humans or demonic beasts, they all cared about powerful strength. If the poison flood dragon obtained the blood of a true dragon, he would become a member of the dragon race. With the powerful strength of the dragon race, no one would not flock to it. Look at this and you will know. My little companion is outside. As long as you satisfy me, I can let you obtain the blood of a true dragon and let you become a true dragon. Li Lingtian activated his divine consciousness and summoned the roaring dragon combat halberd. Instantly, a powerful burst of demonic power erupted. After Li Lmjishan attained the martial honored realm and the true dragon's body barrier reached level 3, the roaring dragon battle halberd's divine weapons power was unleashed. Even though it was only a sliver of the power of a divine artifact, it was enough to make it difficult for a saint artifact to withstand. A divine artifact was a divine artifact. No matter how powerful a divine artifact was, it was not a match for a divine artifact. Roaring Dragon Battle Halberd. The divine weapon of the true dragon clan, the Roaring Dragon Battle Halberd, is in your hands. Are you from the dragon clan? When Long Da saw the Raw Dragon Battle Halberd, he was excited because he knew that this Raw Dragon Battle Halberd was a divine weapon of the dragon race. It was also the most magical and symbolic divine weapon. The only explanation for this human obtaining the Roaring Dragon Battle Halberd was that this human was also a member of the dragon race, and a very important one at that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the Roaring Dragon Battle Halberd. Moreover, there was also an open secret, which was the divine weapon of the dragon clan. Even if the dragon clan was destroyed, as long as the dragon clan was unwilling, this Roaring Dragon Battle Halberd would not appear, and no one could obtain it. The fact that Li Lingtian was able to obtain the Roaring Dragon Combat Halberd meant that he was a member of the dragon tribe. Long Da looked at Li Lingtian in shock and asked in horror. Chapter 355, Chapter 355, Subduing, 1. Chapter 355, Subduing, 1. I can be said to be from the dragon clan, but I can also be said to not be. Li Lingtian completely ignored Long Da's shock. He knew that there were some things about him that humans and demons could not understand. There was no need for him to explain them one by one because he did not have the obligation to do so. He was a human, but he had signed a friendly contract with Little White. He had also promised the Dragon Clan to take care of Little White. The Dragon Clan had also given him 3 powerful mysterious treasures. It was not wrong to say that he was from the dragon race because he had tempered his body with dragon energy and cultivated the true dragon body protection. He was completely a super expert of the dragon race. So, you are a member of the Dragon Clan. If you can make me a dragon, I will follow you. Long Da was extremely excited. This human was not simple. He did not expect that he was actually a member of the Dragon Clan. If he really was a member of the dragon race, why couldn't he follow him? As long as he could become a member of the dragon race, and after becoming a member of the dragon race, he would have to be led by this human. Recover your cultivation first. After we get out, I'll find time to give you the blood of a true dragon and let you become a true dragon. Li Lingtian's expression was calm and collected. When he spoke to Long Da, he was like a superior speaking to his subordinates. Even though Long Da did not like such a gesture, he did not care about anything else when he heard Li Lingtian's words. After saying that, Li Lingtian released his divine consciousness and the dragon energy in the divine dragon ring surged out. A stream of pure dragon energy then pressed down on Long Da. Long Da was stunned when he felt the destructive force pressing down on him. He thought that Li Lingtian was going to kill him. However, when he realized that the destructive force was pure dragon energy, he understood what Li Lingtian was going to do. He was excited because Li Lingtian wanted to use dragon energy to temper its body and restore its cultivation. Roar! Roar! Long Da roared in pain as the poisonous fog was refined. The dragon energy was also continuously absorbed into his body, and his body was continuously strengthened. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian waved his hand and the dragon energy in the air vanished. He turned his eyes to Long Da and the latter revealed a satisfied expression. Roar! Long Da roared again. This time, he roared excitedly. His entire body changed drastically and he transformed into a huge flood dragon. However, he now had a trace of true dragon chi. In other words, he had become half a dragon. As long as he obtained the blood of a true dragon, he could mutate into a true dragon. An explosive force filled the passageway. Li Lingtian furrowed his brows. He could not withstand such a terrifying force. What are you shouting for? Is this little achievement worth being so excited about? If I let you reach the 9th step or even higher, it would be strange if you didn't go crazy. Li Lingtian snorted and pursed his lips at Long Da. If it were any other powerhouse, they would definitely be so scared that they would not dare to speak when facing a 7th-tier demonic beast, but he came to mock Long Da. He was right. If there was a chance in the future, the powerful demonic beasts that followed him would definitely surpass the 9th-tier existence. What do you know? 9th rank. A higher realm. Are you joking? Long Da was also unconvinced, but he did not dare to say anything more. He only said softly with dissatisfaction. Rank 7 was enough for him to cultivate for countless years, but now this human said rank 9. Mph, what do I not know? Remember, in the future, when you speak in front of this young master, you must understand the difference between superiority and inferiority. Li Lingtian glared at Long Da and the entire passageway was instantly engulfed in flames. The 9 suns' sacred flame engulfed the entire passageway. This flame had the power to burn everything in the world. Even Long Da was almost instantly refined. This was because this was his natal fire, the sacred body of blazing flames, and the essence of the 9 suns' sacred flame. What was the 9 suns' sacred flame? It was the 9 suns' Saint Lord's flames. The 9 young Saint Lord was an existence similar to a divine lord in the upper world. He was also the reincarnation of the 9 young Saint Lord. 9 suns' sacred flame, 9 suns' Saint Lord. The experts of the divine martial continent naturally did not know about the existence of the 9 young Saint Lord. However, they knew quite a bit about a powerful demonic beast like Long Da. He did not expect that this human in front of him actually had the 9 suns' sacred flame. It seemed that this human's background was extremely mysterious. Li Lingtian ignored Long Die's shock. The 9 suns' sacred flame vanished and he turned to walk toward the end of the passageway. Seeing that Li Lingtian had left, Long Die pondered for a moment before he transformed into a human form with his flood dragon's voice and shot toward Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian kept sprinting forward. After some time, he entered a halo. In this halo, it was as if he had entered a hot spring. His body gradually floated into the distance. Seconds ticked by. After a full 3 hours, Li Lingtian had entered a murky pool of water where his divine consciousness could not extend. Even his line of sight was limited to about 10 meters. Another 3 hours passed and Li Lingtian swam quickly. Tong! With a soft splash, Li Lingtian left the water and came to the surface. Whoosh! His body flashed and he quickly flew into the air. He looked around and realized that this place was an endless sea. He still didn't know where to go. Boom! At this moment, Long Die also flew out, but the commotion was not small. Li Lingtian was speechless. He did not use his brain when he did things and was always impatient. He sized up the direction and quickly flew in one direction. With his cultivation, even if he did not know the direction, he could still sense the direction of the shore and not fly deeper. I'm finally back. Finally, after 5 hours of flight, they finally arrived at the shore. Seeing this place, they knew that they were not flying in the wrong direction. This was because this was the territory of Snowcloud City, and he had passed by this place once before. It was the place he passed by on his way from Snowcloud City to Vast Heaven City. Li Lingtian began to ponder upon seeing this. Take back your aura. Li Lingtian was silent for a moment before he shouted at Long Die behind him. Long Die's powerful and terrifying aura was shocking. Then, his body flashed and he quickly flew towards the great city of heaven. After 3 days, they arrived at Vast Heaven City once again. However, the current Vast Heaven City was no longer as glorious as it had been before. Dishi family was destroyed by a young man on the day of their wedding, and 3 super powerful warriors were killed in one move. The entire city was shocked, and the young man's name quickly spread throughout the Azure continent. Currently, although Vast Heaven City was still under the Dishi family's control, the Dishi family in Vast Heaven City had restrained themselves quite a bit, because some of their super powerful warriors had died, and some had disappeared. After Li Lingtian arrived at Vast Heaven Great City, he did not hide his presence at all. Instead, he swiftly flew across the sky. With a wave of his hand, a meteor shower descended. Immediately, a rain of fire with a radius of 100 meters fell from the sky. Countless martial artists were directly destroyed, and countless buildings were turned into ashes. Li Lingtian. It's Li Lingtian. Wasn't he killed? He died. Why is he here? Run. Vast Heaven City was 100,000 miles in radius. Li Lingtian was not here to kill this warrior but to warn the disciples of the Dishi family in Vast Heaven City that the Sha family would become history. All the way, he flew straight towards Dishi family. Wherever he went, destructive attacks struck down. Li Lingtian's appearance was noticed by countless powerful warriors from the Dishi family. Instantly, hundreds of martial honors in the sky stepped forward with fear on their faces. Although this young man was only at the martial royal realm, he had destroyed the Dishi family that day, killed half of their disciples, and even killed their super powerful warriors. He's not a martial emperor. He's actually a martial honored realm. The few level 3 or 4 supreme realm powerhouses were shocked when they saw Li Lingtian's cultivation base. A while ago, Li Lingtian was still a tier 7 or 8 martial emperor. However, he was eventually killed after a great battle. Now, he had reappeared. However, the young man who had been killed had actually reached the martial honored realm. They could not worry about anything else except Li Lingtian's existence. When he was at the martial royal realm, he had already killed a 7th level martial honored realm expert in an instant. Now that he was at the martial honored realm, he did not know how powerful he was. Dishi family, listen. I'm back. Dishi family will become history. Li Lingtian looked at the hundreds of revered martial artists in the distance and spoke loudly. He was not afraid of the hundreds of revered martial artists in front of him at all. On the contrary, he was filled with fighting spirit. The tens of millions of martial artists in Vast Heaven City were all stunned when they saw the young man in the sky. Although Vast Heaven City belonged to the Dishi family, not everyone belonged to the Dishi family. In fact, the Dishi family only had a small number of powerful warriors who controlled the lifeline of Vast Heaven City. Now, the super powerful warriors of Dishi family had been killed. If they killed some of these Supreme Realm warriors, Vast Heaven City would be under a new owner. They could not wait for Li Lingtian to wipe out the Dishi family so that Vast Heaven City could be reshuffled. Arrogant. The only 5th level Supreme Realm warrior of Dishi family said angrily. Dishi Mingfeng was also a proud son of Dishi family. However, when he came out of his secluded cultivation, he found that Dishi family was destroyed, and most of its disciples were killed. A few Supreme Realm warriors were also gone. He was shocked. After learning about what happened that day, Li Lingtian's hatred for him had grown. If Li Lingtian was still alive, he would have killed him. Now, this young man who was rumored to have fallen had appeared again. Moreover, he had even advanced to the Supreme Realm. How could he tolerate this? After saying that, a shocking aura surged out of his body. He did not believe how powerful a first-level martial honored realm was. Heaven extinguishing Guyun. In a flash, a destructive attack was launched at Li Lingtian. It was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, the attack had crossed 100 miles and arrived above Li Lingtian. You overestimate yourself. Li Lingtian looked at the attack from the 5th level Supreme Realm with disdain. However, he would not be so careless after the lesson of the previous destruction. With the thought that a lion would use its full strength to hunt a rabbit, he circulated all the true essence in his body and waved his hands. A ball of flames and a ball of ice appeared. Instantly, an aura of death and destruction erupted in the air. Chapter 356, Chapter 356, Exterminating the Dishi Family. Chapter 356, Exterminating the Dishi Family. The destructive and deadly power spread in the air. Countless powerful warriors under Vast Heaven City, as well as Dishi family warriors, sensed this terrifying power. Icefire 9 heavens, extinction. With a smile on his face, Li Lingtian shot out a beam of light. The beam of light ignored the distance in space and headed straight for the destructive attack in the sky. The extermination aura made countless experts tremble in fear. Rumble. The two destructive attacks collided, producing a shocking explosion. Along with the explosion, a destructive light spread out. Instantly, the air was destroyed as well. Dishi Mingfeng's attack was destroyed, and the light beam quickly pressed down on Dishi Mingfeng. Hey! Do it! The hundreds of revered martial artists didn't expect that Dishi Mingfeng's attack would be cancelled out by just one attack. They were all shocked. They saw that the power of the light beam didn't weaken, but became even stronger. All the Supreme Realm experts attacked at the same time, unleashing powerful attacks. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, the light pillar was destroyed, but countless Supreme Realm experts were also shocked and injured. Beneath Vast Heaven City, the tens of millions of martial artists watched the young man in the air with admiration. One move caught hundreds of Supreme Realm experts off guard. Thunderclap wings. Myriad swords returned to the origin. Li Lmjishan activated his divine consciousness and the thunderclap wings appeared. Immediately, a glowing stone flashed between his brows and the heavenly fault sword appeared before him. Li Lingtian extended his hand and a ball of light appeared. Suddenly, a destructive sword will shot up into the sky. Li Lingtian was like a sharp sword that had been unsheathed as he hovered in the air. He looked at the ball of light in his hand and the spinning heavenly fault sword in front of him seriously. Not good, be careful. It's the myriad returning swords. Use the heaven and earth origin formation. Be careful. Upon seeing Li Lingtian's sword will and the sacred weapon long sword in front of him, the hundreds of martial honors from the Dishi family were shocked. Their expressions changed drastically. Myriad swords return. Isn't this the legendary divine power of the sword path? With a single strike, 10,000 swords fly together and destroy the world. I think he used myriad returning swords the last time. However, a few super experts were only injured and didn't die. I wonder how powerful the myriad returning swords will be this time. What a terrifying sword intent. Countless experts who were watching the battle below felt the destructive sword intent and began to discuss. For a moment, vast Heaven City was in an uproar. Amidst the discussions of countless powerhouses, Li Lingtian clapped his hand. Instantly, a world of swords was formed within 100 meters of him. There were tens of thousands of profound-level weapons and sharp swords, and there were countless emperor weapons in the middle. This time, there were more swords than the last time. This was because Li Lingtian had obtained the treasures from the mountain behind the stone tablet. As long as it was a sword-type weapon, he would refine it and add it into the myriad returning swords. Now, there were more than 1,000 sharp swords, and there were more than 10 imperial artifacts. There were even more than 10 heaven-tier sharp swords. The shocking sword intent transformed the 10,000 swords into sword silks, forming a sword net. Tens of thousands of sharp swords spun around, forming a shocking sword net. As Li Lingtian walked forward step by step, the world of swords followed him. Upon seeing this scene, over 100 revered martial artists were stunned. The experts of vast Heaven City below were also shocked. At that moment, Li Lingtian had arrived 10 miles away from the Dishi family's formation. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a rain of sharp swords shot out. However, there was a slight connection between the sword rain. This wasn't a single sword rain, but a sword formation that complemented each other. Its power was tens of thousands of times stronger than a single sword. The air was devoured by destruction. The sword intent was retracted, and it carried a sharp sword as it bombarded the formation. Hundreds of Supreme Realm experts supported the Heaven and Earth Origin returning array and poured endless true essence into the array. When they saw the destructive sharp sword in the air shooting over, their faces were extremely pale. In front of this sword formation, their minds and confidence were completely destroyed. Rumble. With a crisp explosion, tens of thousands of sharp swords followed Li Lingtian's divine consciousness and left Li Lingtian's side. They struck the array formation fiercely. The sword was the master of all weapons in the world. The sword was the king of all weapons. The sword was incomparably sharp. More than 10,000 sharp swords bombarded the array formation. The Heaven-grade Heaven and Earth Origin returning array could not resist at all and instantly dissipated. Ah, 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 ah. Kai, Kai. The array shattered, and hundreds of revered martial artists were exposed to the sword array. Tens of thousands of mystic artifacts, imperial artifacts, and heaven artifacts bombarded the sword array. There were even saint artifacts leading the sword array. The destructive power was unstoppable. In an instant, hundreds of revered martial artists died continuously. 10,000 swords pierced through their hearts and died. The destructive sword chi and sword light shattered hundreds of revered martial artists. Ah! With a final scream, the thousands of swords returned to Li Lingtian like birds returning to their nests. Li Lmjishan made a grabbing motion with one hand and the tens of thousands of sharp swords turned into a light shadow and disappeared. They formed a ball of light and entered Li Lingtian's hand. The holy weapon, the heavenly fault sword, entered Li Lingtian's glabella. Hundreds of Supreme Realm experts had all died. In vast Heaven City, tens of millions of martial artists had personally witnessed this young man annihilate hundreds of revered martial artists with a single strike. At this moment, their hearts could no longer withstand the impact of this reality, and countless experts coughed out a mouthful of blood. Facing such shocking power, they could no longer withstand it. This was even more terrifying than an attack. At that moment, Li Lingtian flashed and returned the storage pouches and weapons to his hands one by one. Then, he flashed and quickly disappeared from the center of the Dishi family's palace. 2 hours later, Li Lingtian's figure turned into a white shadow as he left vast Heaven City quickly. From the beginning to the end, the middle-aged man who was with Li Lingtian did not utter a single word or make a move. Instead, he hovered in the air. Only when Li Lingtian left the Dishi family did he leave with Li Lingtian. Dishi family is destroyed. This time, it's truly destroyed. What a terrifying sword intent. One move of the return of 10,000 swords killed over 100 supreme realm warriors of the Defy family. Is this still a martial honor? Myriad returning swords is definitely not an ordinary heaven-grade divine ability. Could it be that he has evolved it into a saint-tier skill? The true chaos in Vast Heaven City has begun. It's time for the reshuffling of the ranks in Vast Heaven City. After Li Lingtian left, Vast Heaven City was in an uproar. This move had become a shadow in the hearts of countless experts in Vast Heaven City. The Defy family had become history. However, countless powerful warriors were confused. According to the legends, the Defy family had 3 great elders, but none of them showed up during the destruction of the Defy family. Had they died long ago? Li Lingtian was also puzzled by this. He was ready to eliminate the 3 supreme elders, but the destruction of hundreds of supreme realm warriors meant the destruction of the Defy family's foundation. However, the 3 legendary martial emperor powerhouses did not appear. As such, he felt puzzled. This time, the destruction of Defy family was not a complete success. Moreover, it had brought him trouble. He might be attacked by martial emperors at any time. Li Lingtian flew at high speed. He had been separated from Ji Yi and Qing Ling for too long and he missed the 2 little beauties. Besides, he believed that they had already known that he was killed in Defy family. They must still be very worried now. When they thought of this, they felt very sorry. Swoosh. After leaving Vast Heaven City for tens of thousands of miles, Li Lingtian took out his spaceship and brought Long Da to a mountain peak. After flying for a full 2 hours, the spaceship came to a stop and hovered in the air. Li Lingtian instructed Long Da to stand guard on the spaceship before he left the spaceship in a flash. In front of a cave, Li Lingtian cast a series of incantations before sending a secret voice-sending message into the cave. Immediately, the cave's restriction was activated and Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyu walked out. Lingtian, are you alright? Young master, how are you? Defy family was destroyed, right? When the 2 peerless beauties arrived in front of Li Lingtian, the worried expression on their faces finally disappeared. Tang Qingyu did not hesitate at all. She extended her snow-white hand to hold Li Lingtian's hand as she asked seriously. Huangfu Yuyan did not argue with Li Lingtian this time and casually addressed him as young master. It's fine. Defy family has been destroyed. Li Lmjishan smiled as he noticed the change in the 2 beauties. Tang Qingyu was 2 years older than him but she still looked like a little girl. It was the same for Huangfu Yuyan. Although she was a martial saint, she had always been cultivating and did not care about the world. She was a proud child of the heavens and had reached martial arts grandmaster at the age of 16 or 17. Her appearance had also stopped at the age of 17. To describe the 2 beauties as peerless beauties, he felt that he was at a loss for words. Li Lingtian followed Tang Qingyu and the other man into the cave. Li Lingtian waited for the 2 of them as they began to pack up. This time, Li Lingtian did not bring Tang Qujinju and Huangfu Yuyan into the city when he visited the Defy family. Instead, he found a place not far away from Vast Heaven City to settle them down. Soon, the 2 of them packed up everything and the 3 of them left the cave abode. With a wave of his hand, Li Lingtian conjured a beam shield to hold Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan by his side before he swiftly flew toward the spaceship in the sky. Li Lingtian let Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan rest in the spaceship's room after they boarded the spaceship. He then steered the spaceship toward Snowcloud City. In half an hour, Li Lingtian taught Long Da how to control the spaceship. Now, Long Da was piloting the spaceship. Li Lingtian returned to his room to rest. Although the battle was short, it had given him a great insight that there were no tricks in front of a superpowerhouse. Every time they attacked, they would destroy the world and wipe out the world with one move. He was at the first level of martial honored realm, and he had performed the innumerable swords to the origin. If he met a stronger 9th level warrior, he would end up like a martial honored realm warrior of Defy family. Therefore, strength was the most important. However, what made him happy was that his myriad returning swords had already exceeded the scope of a heaven-grade divine power. However, there was no standard to what extent it had reached. It was at least a top-notch heaven-tier divine power. If he could evolve the myriad returning swords to the extreme or the state of perfection, he would definitely reach the low-level saint tier. Chapter 357, Chapter 357, Wind Lightning God Destroying / Chapter 357, Wind Lightning God Destroying / After 3 days, Li Lingtian and the others finally arrived at a small city. The spaceship came to a stop. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan were brought down by Li Lingtian's light shield before the spaceship was put away. Li Lingtian's concern deepened when he saw the small city before him. He had not seen Ji Yi and Qing Ling for some time and wondered how they were doing. After entering the small city, the group headed straight for a remote inn. In the courtyard of the inn, Qing Ling and Ji Yi were still cultivating. They had never worked so hard before. Rumors had it that Li Lingtian had been killed. Although they did not believe it, they had no choice but to believe the fact that Li Lingtian had fallen due to the power of the Dishi family. During this period of time, they did not dare to come out and could only cultivate in the courtyard. They would wait until their cultivation base was strong enough to avenge Li Lingtian. At this moment, the restriction in the courtyard fluctuated slightly. Qing Ling's expression turned serious. At the same time, Ji Yi also came out of his cultivation. The two of them looked at each other and circulated the true qi in their bodies. If something was wrong, they would be the first to attack. The restriction was opened, and the two of them unleashed their powerful attacks, bombarding the place where the restriction was. Silk. With a slight sound, the two powerful attacks were devoured and disappeared. This scene shocked Ji Yi and Qing Ling. Although the cultivation of a martial king wasn't very high, they were still shocked that such a sneak attack had been negated. However, when they saw the figure who came in, the two of them were stunned. Following that, sparkling tears rolled down her face. She could no longer hold it in. This familiar person had been rumored to have fallen some time ago, but now, he had returned unscathed. How could she not be happy? Big brother. Young master. Ji Yi's delicate body flashed as she threw herself into Li Lingtian's arms. Qing Ling held herself back and stood to the side because she saw that there were others behind Li Lingtian. Furthermore, she recognized one of the three people. It was Huangfu Yuyan. There was also a beautiful girl that she didn't know, but such a beautiful girl was so beautiful that it made people jealous. Then, he thought of the girl that his young master had been worried about. That girl must be Tang Qingyu. However, there was also a middle-aged man, but he did not know who he was. Be good, it's okay. Li Lingtian gently caressed Ji Yi's back. He felt guilty for making Ji Yi worry for the second time. In the future, he would definitely not let her worry about him. Yes. Ji Yi nodded and gave a soft hum before gently leaving Li Lingtian's embrace. She looked at Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan shyly. Let me introduce her to you. She's Tang Qingyu, Sister Qingyu. He is Long Da, my friend. Li Lingtian introduced Tang Qingyu and Long Da to each other. Since they knew Huangfu Yuyan, there was no need for an introduction. Long Da's heart skipped a beat. He didn't expect this human to call him a friend. His heart trembled. Hey, why didn't you introduce me? Huangfu Yuyan asked Li Lingtian when she saw that he did not introduce her. Oh, right. Her name is Huangfu Yuyan. She is one of the 10 martial saints of the divine continent. She is a beautiful martial saint. However, she has already sold herself to me as a maid. A faint smile appeared on Li Lingtian's face as he glanced at Huangfu Yuyan before he spoke. Huangfu Yuyan's expression was smug when he started speaking. However, when Li Lingtian finished his sentence, her expression changed and she glared at him fiercely. Long Da was extremely shocked. He had never expected that this peerless beauty who was like a little girl was actually a martial saint. This was not a joke, right? A martial saint was an existence that could directly crush him to death. Why was there a martial saint by his side? Moreover, he was so close to this human. What kind of world was this? Sister Qingyu, this is the elf princess Ji Yi I told you about. She's also my sister. Li Lingtian held Ji Yi's little hand as he spoke earnestly with a doting expression on his face. He had been imprisoned in the Ice Palace for tens of thousands of years, and he only had 1 month to wake up every 10,000 years. He still didn't know anything, and he had to educate Ji Yi like a parent. No wonder little sister Ji Yi is so pretty and cute. So you're the fairy princess. I heard Ling Tian mention you guys a while ago. This is Qingling, right? Tang Qingyu also liked Ji Yi, and she had a loving smile on her face. His gaze then fell on Qingling. Although she was Li Lingtian's maid, her status was different. She was also a stunning beauty. Qingling greets Miss Qingyu. Qingling was stunned and quickly bowed to Tang Qingyu. After all, Tang Qingyu was the elder sister of the young master's fiancé and had a very high position in the young master's heart. No need to be so polite. Tang Qingyu smiled and pulled Qingling up. She didn't act like a master and servant at all. Instead, they were like sisters. You guys continue chatting. I'll go in and take a seat. Li Lingtian smiled bitterly in his heart when he saw the girl's reaction. 3 women were a show, and now there were 4 extremely beautiful women. 4 peerless beauties together, it was as simple as a show. Soon after, they entered the courtyard. Under the curiosity of Qingling and Ji Yi, Li Lingtian told them everything that had happened in Dishi family. Initially, the 2 girls did not pay much attention to it. However, after Li Lingtian had finished speaking, they realized how powerful Huangfu Yuyan was. She was a legendary warrior sage powerhouse. If not for Huangfu Yuyan, Li Lingtian would have vanished into thin air. The conversation lasted for a few hours. Qingling asked the waiters outside to deliver a lot of dishes. The few of them celebrated Tang Qingyue's safe return and Li Lingtian's great improvement in his cultivation base. It was Long Die's first time enjoying human delicacies. In just a moment, the table full of dishes was finished by Long Die. Long Die, take these spirit stones. Here, you need to pay spirit stones to eat. Li Lingtian thought about it for a moment before he took out a storage pouch that contained billions of spiritual stones. With his big mouth, his appetite must be astonishing. All right. You guys can eat by yourselves. I'm going out now. I won't be more than a mile away from you. As long as it's a human or demon below the 2nd heaven of the martial emperor realm, I'll definitely block it for you. Oh right, that weapon is called the Wind Lightning Extermination Slash. It's said to be a divine weapon passed down from ancient times. Even Master didn't refine it. You have to be careful. After Long Die finished speaking, he left the courtyard alone. He was a transformed demon beast. Although he didn't know much, after countless years, he was a demon beast with a deep cultivation base. His intelligence was also very high. Naturally, he knew that it was inappropriate for him to be here. Although Li Lingtian and the others did not say anything, he was aware of this. Big brother, who is he? Ji Yi asked curiously as he watched Long Die leave. Tang Qingyu and the others were also looking at Li Lingtian curiously. They had never heard Li Lingtian mention anything about Long Die before. Long Die is a 7th rank demon beast in human form. He's from the Flood Dragon race. You can be considered my subordinate. You want to become a dragon. Li Lingtian briefly explained the incident with Long Die and the girls were shocked. They did not expect the middle-aged man to be a demonic beast in human form. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan were even more shocked. They were certain that Long Die was the one who had shown the shocking aura at the statue. He did not expect Li Lingtian to subdue him. A Tier 7 transformed demonic beast. Looks like he wants to obtain the true dragon chi and true dragon blood. If I obtain these 2, I might be able to reach the 8th or even 9th rank. Huangfu Yuyan thought for a moment and accurately said it. As a martial saint, although she did not have the cultivation of a martial saint, she still had some knowledge. That's right. I need true dragon chi and true dragon blood. If he is loyal, I can help him. I need help now. His existence can suppress some experts. Li Lingtian nodded. Tang Qingyu and the rest knew that Li Lingtian still had a lot of unfinished business in the Azure continent. The Azure continent was not the same as the Azure continent. It was definitely not something that a first heaven marshal honored could resolve. Oh right, Lingtian, What's with that wind lightning annihilation he mentioned? Tang Qingyu could only describe Li Lingtian's transformation as a shock. The young man from back then was now a super strong person, a martial honor. Furthermore, he was in possession of a powerful treasure. This time, he had fallen for her sake. She understood that Li Lingtian was not a Casanova but a monstrous genius like him was the kind of person that every girl in the world would fall for. Yes, this is it. Li Lingtian took out an item wrapped in animal skin from the back. The animal skin was unwrapped and a mighty and domineering weapon appeared in front of everyone. The weapon was mighty and domineering. The aura on it made people feel a little shocked. This was still the weapon that had not been unsealed. If it had been unsealed, it would have been earth-shattering pressure and power. What made Li Lingtian depressed was that the weapon could not shrink. Even the divine dragon ring could not store it. He could only wrap this weapon in beast skin and carry it on his back. This was very numb, but he naturally would not throw it away. This was a super treasure that everyone fought for. Wind Lightning God Extermination / It carries the power of wind and lightning and possesses the power to destroy gods. It is indeed a divine artifact passed down from ancient times. Huangfu Yuyan said in surprise as she looked at the god-destroying wind and thunder / There was a purple crystal on the handle of the god-destroying wind and thunder / but she couldn't tell what it was. However, the entire weapon was covered with a faint aura of wind and lightning, giving off a feeling of destruction. An ancient divine artifact left behind from the ancient battlefield. Its power is shocking. But I've tried using blood essence and all kinds of refining methods, but there's no way. Even the treasure control art can't refine it. It's really difficult to deal with. Li Lingtian looked at the god-destroying tempest / as he spoke indifferently. Up until now, he had no way of subduing this divine weapon. He also understood that divine weapons were divine weapons. The Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber was like this, and so was the Roaring Dragon Combat Halberd. Even the Heaven and Earth Creation Cauldron could not unleash its full power. He couldn't even refine the Wind Thunder God Extermination / He didn't know what method he had to use to subdue the Wind Thunder God Extermination / If he couldn't use it, this divine artifact would be trash. It would even bring him trouble and disaster. If he threw it away, it would be impossible. Chapter 358, Shocking Wealth, 1. Chapter 358, Shocking Wealth, 1. He couldn't use this divine weapon, nor could he refine it and store it in the divine dragon ring. It was impossible to throw it away. Moreover, even if he threw away the Wind Lightning God Extermination / no one would believe him. After all, the experts of the three superpowers knew that he had the God-destroying thunderstorm / They would never believe that he was a fool. If he wasn't a fool, he wouldn't have thrown away the divine weapon. In the Azure continent, a saint weapon was already a top-notch treasure, let alone a divine weapon. Divine weapon. I didn't expect you to obtain a divine weapon this time. It's your fortuitous encounter. Huangfu Yuyan was shocked as well. In the divine martial continent, even in the Huangfu clan of Shenshen, there was only one divine weapon that could be used as the family treasure. He did not expect Li Lingtian to obtain a divine weapon left behind from the ancient times. The power of a divine weapon left behind from the ancient times was much stronger than other divine weapons. I didn't expect it either. However, I have more than one divine artifact in my hands. You saw it for yourself that day. Before the light of the 5 elements was destroyed, I used a destructive saber light. That treasure was also a divine artifact. There was a faint smile on Li Lingtian's face. It would be strange if the other powerhouses did not beat him to death if they saw him like this. While everyone was struggling to get their hands on a divine artifact, Li Lingtian already possessed a divine artifact. Now that he had obtained this ancient divine artifact, he was acting as if he did not care. If other experts saw a divine artifact, they would have gone crazy long ago. Not to mention divine artifacts, even heaven artifacts and saint artifacts were fought over by experts. Are you talking about the move that you used to instantly kill 3 Supreme Realm experts? I think it's called Desolate 10 Consecutive Strikes. That move of yours has already surpassed an ordinary heaven-grade divine power. It should be a high-grade heaven-grade divine power. Indeed. With your cultivation, even if you use a high-grade heaven-tier divine ability, it won't be so terrifying unless it's a powerful divine artifact. Huang Fu Yuan's heart was still trembling when she recalled Li Lingtian's attack. Even her martial saint eyes were stunned by that attack. Although that move could not deal with her martial saint cultivation, it could still threaten a first heaven martial emperor. More importantly, Li Lingtian's cultivation base was only at the martial royal realm. It was impossible for a martial royal to kill an enemy of a higher realm. However, Li Lingtian had managed to do it. Moreover, he had killed a seventh heaven supreme realm powerhouse in an instant. Coupled with the terrifying power of that attack, it had surpassed the power of an ordinary heaven-grade superpower. That's right. That treasure is called the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber. After Li Lingtian finished speaking, he activated his divine mindfulness and summoned the Empyrean Terminus Tyrant Saber. Even now, he had yet to gain full control of this treasure. There was also a huge price to pay for using the Heaven's Extreme Overlord Saber. However, after reaching the Supreme Realm, the physical resistance was stronger, and the damage of the Heaven's Extreme Overlord Saber was relatively reduced. As expected, you haven't fully displayed its power. If you could control it, your strength would increase by a large margin. Huang Fu Yuan was shocked when she saw Li Lingtian's Celestial Emperor Blade. This young man's luck and opportunities were truly heaven-defying. It was as if the world revolved around him. She had the knowledge of a martial saint. Even though she had not cultivated it, she could still be of great help to Li Lingtian. Following that, the few of them settled down in the inn for the time being. When Li Lingtian was not cultivating, he would focus on refining treasures and comprehending cultivation techniques. He spent most of his time with Qingling, and when he was free, he spent time with Ji Yi, Huang Fu Yuan, and Tang Qingyu. When he was with Huang Fu Yuan, most of the time, he would hear her talk about the divine continent. She rarely left her home, so she didn't know much about the matters of the divine continent. She had only read a lot of books in her family, so what she knew was naturally limited to the books. Time passed quickly and Li Lingtian decided to leave. On this day, Li Lingtian instructed Yi Feng to steer the spaceship straight toward Qinglan City. His target was the Queen Palace, and Shun Mai was still waiting for him. He had to pass through Qinglan City to get to Spirituality City, where the Queen's Palace was located. Li Lingtian intended to cultivate in Qinglan City for a while to prepare some things. Moreover, he needed to find some materials to build a battleship. With the power of a battleship, it would be easier to deal with powerful enemies. He had already decided that he would never put Ji Yi and the others aside in the future. Even if he had to put them aside, he had to have full security to be at ease. He did not want to temporarily settle them down every time he encountered something. That way, he would not be at ease about their safety. A battleship would be a terrifying trump card for powerful families and forces. If there was a chance in the future, he could build a powerful aircraft carrier group. Dozens of huge aircraft carriers and warships could fly and instantly destroy a family. Yi Feng returned to Qinglan City directly. After Li Lingtian gave his instructions, he led Tang Qingyu and the others to the spaceship. This time, Long Da followed suit as Snowcloud City was too far away from Qinglan City. It was the first time it had come to human territory, so it was a little inconvenient. This subordinate will obey, Yi Feng said respectfully. Before, it was because of the blue screen, but now, after knowing that this young man had destroyed the Dishi family, he was extremely shocked. When he was at the Martial Royal Realm, he had killed 2 level 7 martial honors and a level 4 martial honored warrior with one move. No one dared to offend him. She was filled with admiration for Li Lingtian and was glad that she had decided to follow him. I'll give you a list of materials later. Find all of these materials within the Azure continent and get as many as you can. No matter what method you use, you have to get these materials. If you can't get the materials, as long as there's news, I'll personally take them back. Li Lingtian led Qing Ling and the rest into the spaceship before turning around to speak to Yi Feng. Long Da was meditating in a room at the front of the spaceship to ensure the safety of the spaceship. What left Li Lingtian speechless was that Long Da's room was filled with fruits and food. Li Lingtian, Tang Qingyu, and the rest were at the top of the spaceship. There was a simple garden on top where they could admire the blue sky and white jade, enjoying the feeling of flying in the spaceship. Li Lingtian had also made arrangements. He would only study alchemy and cultivation techniques on the spaceship. At night, he would practice heaven and earth reincarnation and true dragon's body barrier. He would then give up on cultivating his skills. After all, it was impossible to cultivate skills on a spaceship. When he was free, he would chat with a few beautiful women. On this day, Li Lingtian was cultivating in his room. After 3 major qi circulations, he called Tang Qingyu and the rest to his room. Lingtian, why did you call us here? Tang Qingyu's heart skipped a beat when she saw Li Lingtian in his room. She thought that Li Lingtian had something to do, but when she arrived at his room, she realized that Li Lingtian must have something else to do because Qingling, Ji Yi, and Huangfu Yuyan were also in his room. It's nothing. I called you here because I want you to help me count my storage bags. Li Lingtian opened the divine dragon ring and a pile of storage pouches appeared in front of him. Fortunately, he was in a training room that was 50 square meters in size. Even with such a large space, the storage bag was still packed to the brim. Where did you get so many storage bags? Qingling was shocked. There were at least 10,000 storage bags. She had no idea how many treasures were contained in so many storage pouches. However, before she could recover from her shock, Li Lingtian opened the holy demon ring and poured out a large pile of storage pouches. These storage bags were found in the Gang Mountain, and these were found in the Dishi family. Qingling and Ji Yi, check the storage bags of Dishi family. Sister Qingyu and Yuyan, check the storage bags we got from Tsungtian Mountain. Li Lingtian divided the storage pouches in the 2 interspatial rings. One of them was the storage pouch left behind by the ancient Tsongshan Mountain, while the other was the one obtained by the Dishi family. As for himself, he was counting the storage bags of martial honors and above. This way, the division of labor was clear, and it was not tiring for men and women to work together. When he was checking his storage bag, he placed the spirit stones to one side, the medicinal herbs to one side, the weapons to one side according to their grades, and the materials to one side. This way, he only needed to count the total number. Seeing so many storage bags, the 4 girls became excited and began to count them quickly. After 3 hours of counting, the 4 girls were no longer as excited as they had been at the beginning. Instead, they were getting tired. However, the treasures they obtained shocked them. There were a total of 120 billion spirit stones, 30,000 mystic artifacts, 500 imperial artifacts, 200 heaven artifacts, and 30 saint artifacts. After a large pile of herbs and materials, Li Lingtian instructed Tang Qingyu and the rest to choose the celestial artifacts and saint artifacts according to their attributes. They could choose as many as they wanted. In the end, everyone chose 2 saint artifacts and 3 heaven artifacts. Li Lingtian collected all the materials and stored the spiritual stones into the divine dragon ring. After everything was done, the girls returned to their rooms while Li Lingtian began to rest. Although he had no use for so many treasures, he could sell them or bribe his subordinates. After resting for a while, his spirit recovered. With a thought of his divine sense, he took out an exquisite ruler. The ruler was black on one side and white on the other. It was emitting a faint and strange aura. Li Lingtian could not tell what it was. His divine sense moved and slowly extended to the small ruler. Immediately, a destructive aura bounced over. Eye of the divine soul. Upon realizing the powerful aura on the ruler, Li Lingtian cast the Eye of Divine Soul and forcefully connected with the ruler. After reaching the martial honored realm, the Eye of the Divine Soul had become even more powerful. His divine consciousness had reached a terrifying level. Even the current 9th heaven martial honored realm could not compare to his divine consciousness. His divine sense slowly explored the small ruler, bit by bit erasing the original aura on it. An hour later, Li Lingtian's expression remained calm as he carefully erased the original aura and consciousness. This was because the previous owner of the treasure had left behind an aura and consciousness on it, so he had to erase them. At that moment, Li Lingtian's expression changed drastically as if he had seen a ghost. Chapter 359, Chapter 359, Chaos Heaven Measuring Ruler. Chapter 359, Chaos Heaven Measuring Ruler. For a small ruler to cause Li Lingtian's expression to change so drastically, it was definitely not a simple matter. His expression changed drastically as if he had seen a ghost. Then, his divine sense withdrew, and his eyes were filled with shock. Li Lingtian did not know how long had passed before he realized what was going on. Primal Chaos Heaven Measuring Ruler. As he muttered to himself, Li Lingtian stared blankly at the small ruler. He never expected that this small ruler would be the heaven measuring ruler with the name of Chaos. A treasure with such a title was at least a divine artifact, and it was a mysterious ancient divine artifact. Such an inconspicuous ruler without any power could actually have such a terrifying name. It was too shocking. Chaos was the origin of the ancient world. Although no one knew if the power of the origin really existed, this treasure that could be called Chaos was definitely not simple. However, he did not know why there was such a powerful treasure in front of the throne. He had also obtained the origin of the heaven measuring ruler from ancient books. This heaven measuring ruler was a powerful and magical weapon from ancient times, possessing the power to destroy the world. Black represented night, white represented day, and the combination of black and white represented yin and yang. Under this attack, the night and day of the world changed continuously. It allowed the attacked warrior to enter the chaos of heaven and earth and appear in another world. In this world, the master of the heaven measuring ruler was the one who controlled it. However, the prerequisite was that he had to control the heaven measuring ruler and unleash its power to its peak. More importantly, this chaos sky measuring ruler carried the origin of the ancient world. Under one strike, any true energy would dissipate. This was only a brief introduction to the heaven measuring ruler, but no one had ever seen the true power of the heaven measuring ruler, and no one had ever seen the true magic art. This was because no one had ever known about the primal chaos heaven measuring ruler, so naturally, no one had ever used it. He did not expect that the ruler in his hand was the legendary chaos heaven measuring ruler that had been passed down from ancient times. Moreover, there was a carving with the heaven measuring ruler. He believed that it would not be bad. Besides, these things were all in front of the throne. It should be said that the throne was the most important. However, he did not know what this throne was. Venerable vast heaven, with such a mysterious and powerful treasure, why didn't you obtain the god-slaying thunderstorm / Li Lingtian muttered to himself. The gorilla demon was guarding the entrance of the tempest god-slaying / In other words, vast heaven venerable knew about the palace inside the passageway and the existence of the tempest god-slaying / However, he could not bring it out. It seemed like the wind thunder god extermination / was not simple. Even venerable Tiantsang could not take it out. He didn't know if the aura on the primal chaos heaven measuring ruler belonged to vast heaven venerable, but he could tell that it didn't have the 5 elements aura of vast heaven venerable. Li Lingtian then took out the sculpture and examined it carefully. The carving was crystal clear, like a crystal carving. It looked like an ancient chariot. It had a faint, boundless aura, and a sense of exquisiteness that could not be ignored. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a wisp of his divine consciousness swept toward the sculpture. After a long time, Li Lingtian withdrew his divine consciousness from the sculpture. His expression was calm and didn't change at all. Because of this carving, his divine sense couldn't enter it and he didn't know what it was. However, what he could confirm was that this carving was not an ornament. It was so powerful that even his divine sense could not detect it. It was just that his current cultivation was too low, so he could not enter the deepest part of the sculpture. Otherwise, he would not have not even known the name of the sculpture. After putting away the sculpture, Li Lingtian closed his eyes and meditated. Once his consciousness was fully recovered, he took out the divine feather elixir's recipe to study it. He could not use any of the items he obtained. The only thing he could use was the divine feather pill and the divine feather pill formula. The chaos ruler and the sculpture couldn't be used, but it was still a good thing. All in all, he had gained a lot this time, and the powerful warriors of the Dishi family had been wiped out. He had gotten the wealth of Dishi family and the divine weapon, but he couldn't use it for the time being. Most importantly, he had saved Tang Qingyu, and he had broken through to a higher realm. He still had a trace of Huangfu Yuyan's martial saint's true origin and will in his body. As time passed, Li Lingtian's cultivation base was slowly improving. Tang Qingyu, Huangfu Yuyan, Qingling, and Jiyi's cultivation bases were not high. However, with Li Lingtian's peerless pills, their cultivation base had skyrocketed. Tang Qingyu and Huangfu Yuyan's cultivation base were about to break through from Martial King to Martial Grandmaster. Qingling's cultivation had also reached the rank of a Martial King. Jiyi's cultivation was similar to Tang Qingyu's. His cultivation speed was fast, and he caught up very quickly. He was already a rank 9 Martial King. What excited Li Lingtian was that his powerful demonic beasts were cultivating in the Divine Dragon Ring. Their heaven-defying pills were upgraded to rank 5 and 6, and they also had Li Lingtian's divine feather pills. The multicolored beast had reached the 7th level of the 5th step, the jade-eyed beast had reached the 1st level of the 6th step, the silver-winged flying dragon had reached the 4th level of the 6th step, and the most terrifying one was Little White. Little White was cultivating in the dragon chi of the 3,000 worlds. The power of the divine feather pill combined with the two directly raised his realm to the 4-colored true dragon. It had also reached the 1st level of the 6th rank. A 4-colored true dragon was directly at the 6th rank, and it was also the lowest level of the 6th rank. This was also because it had cultivated too little. According to the strength of the dragon race, if it reached the 4-colored true dragon, it would be in existence at the 7th rank. However, now that it had reached the 4-colored true dragon, it could cultivate infinitely within the 6th step. There was no bottleneck in its realm. As long as it worked hard, it would be very easy to reach the 7th step. According to the level of the dragon race, Little White should be a giant dragon. However, Little White was a true dragon and had the purest bloodline of the dragon race. Its level completely exceeded the level of the dragon race. It was only a giant dragon, only level 6, but its strength had already reached a terrifying level. If Li Lingtian did not use his treasures or trump cards, he might not be able to defeat Little White. On this day, Li Lingtian let Little White out. There was no demonic energy in the room, nor was there any movement. This left Li Lingtian depressed. Normally, a tier 6 demonic beast would tear through space when it came out. However, Little White seemed to have disappeared when it came out. In his heart, he thought that even if it was a breeze, there should be some wind. He looked up and was shocked. His body shot up and quickly retreated. He also used all the true essence in his body, ready to launch a destructive attack at any time. Swoosh, swoosh. The few people on the spaceship noticed Li Lingtian's violent aura and thought that something had happened. They quickly arrived at Li Lingtian's room. Long Da and Yi Feng were there as well. Tang Qingyu, Huangfu Yuyan, Qingling, and Jiyi were all looking at Li Lingtian's horrified expression and the white-clothed woman standing opposite him. Lingtian. Young Master. Big Brother. Young Master. The few girls and Yi Feng were stunned. Seeing this situation, they did not know what to do. Who are you? Li Lingtian calmed down a little. He did not expect that someone would enter his room while he was cultivating without him knowing. What kind of powerful state and ability did that require? Upon hearing Li Lingtian's question, the few of them turned solemn as they circulated their true chi and true origin. They knew that the lady in white was an uninvited guest. The woman in white didn't say anything, but there was a faint smile on her face. It was a charming smile. For a moment, the atmosphere on the spaceship was strange. There was no sound at all. Big Brother, look, she looks exactly like you. At that moment, Ji Yi was the first to realize the problem. The woman in white before him was only a teenage girl of 16 or 17 years old. She was dressed in a snow-white outfit that looked exactly like Li Lingtian. Even the charm between her eyebrows was the same. However, this girl in white was still a girl. She did not have the temperament of a man, but had a hint of heroism. Hearing Ji Yi's words, everyone carefully sized up the girl in white. Was this not the female version of Li Lingtian? It was as if he was carved from the same mold. She had a petite body and peerless charm. Her entire body carried a faint noble aura, and she had an elegant aura that did not belong to the mortal world. Could it be? I understand. Get lost. Who asked you to look like me? Li Lingtian had also realized that this girl was a mirror of him. The only difference was that she was more beautiful and had a girly temperament, as well as a petite body. If not for this, he would have treated this girl as his mirror. Then, he thought of something. Didn't he call Xiaobai out just now? Xiaobai disappeared after she came out, but this girl in white appeared. Moreover, he knew that there was a strange phenomenon in ancient times. That was, the pets of the divine beast bloodline raised by their masters would transform into human figures that were more or less similar to their masters. Because she was always with her master, she accepted her master's habits and attitudes no matter what. Moreover, he had signed a friendly contract with Xiaobai. When Xiaobai was born, he had used his own strength to give birth to her. Xiaobai had always followed him. Now that Little White had transformed, it was naturally similar to him. However, he never expected that Little White's appearance would be exactly the same as his. What he didn't expect was that Xiaobai did it on purpose. Hey, I'm a girl. Is this how you bully girls? Xiaobai was not convinced when Li Lingtian recognized her and told her to scram. Her figure was sweet and crisp. She was a peerless beauty, and her temperament was not much different from Ji Yi's. This sudden change in the situation stunned everyone present. Initially, Li Lingtian looked shocked, but now it had changed. Judging from the tone of the girl in white, she seemed to be familiar with Li Lingtian. Instantly, many people turned to look at Li Lingtian with unfriendly eyes. He was actually so rude to a girl. Wasn't he asking for a beating? Li Lingtian smiled bitterly. What kind of world was this? Then, he could only explain. Chapter 360, Chapter 360, Little White's Transformation. Chapter 360, Little White's Transformation. She's Little White. She has transformed into my appearance. Li Lingtian explained with a bitter smile. He was feeling depressed about why she had to take his appearance. She was a 7-foot-tall man who had transformed into a girl. Am I that charming? Impossible. If this Xiaobai wanted to transform, she had to transform into a man. So it's Little White. But why is Xiaobai a girl? Yeah, Xiaobai is pretty and charming when she turns into a girl. Could it be that Xiaobai is a girl? Tang Qingyu and the others were surprised. They looked at Little White curiously. They were very happy with this beautiful girl in white. What do you mean changed? I'm a woman, the Dragon Clan's Xiao Longnu. Xiaobai heard their doubts and quickly explained. The girls didn't think much of it, but Long Da, who was at the side, was stunned. Could it be that this little girl in white was from the dragon race, and had the body of a true dragon? Li Lingtian mentioned that there was true dragon's blood and true dragon's qi. Could he be referring to the girl in white? So you really are a woman. Your appearance suits your name. Li Lingtian laughed. He did not expect Little White to be a girl. She was the Dragon Clan's princess, Xiao Longnu. However, he was too lazy to change his name. He would just use this name. Who asked her to transform into someone who looked similar to him? I'm not worried about these tacky names. Little White didn't care at all. However, after transforming, it felt restrained. This was because humans had to wear clothes, have etiquette, and abide by many rules. She's from the Dragon Clan? Long Da looked at Li Lingtian and asked. Even though he was certain, he still had to ask Li Lingtian. If Li Lingtian answered him personally, he would be more assured. Not bad. Li Lingtian nodded and gave Little White a look. Little White reverted back to its original form and a 4-colored true dragon hovered in the middle of the room. It exuded the noble aura of a dragon and an aura that could dominate the world emanated from it. Then, Little White transformed into a human again. Long Da looked shocked. Wait for a while. She has just reached the 4th level of the 6th step and needs to stabilize her realm. After a period of time, I will recover your cultivation. Perhaps there will be hope for you to advance further. Li Lingtian waved his hand to signal for the others to leave as he still had something to discuss with Xiaobai. Although Xiaobai was a girl, she felt awkward. A female version of herself was not good. However, although Xiaobai looked similar to him, they were still different. After all, girls and boys were different. Other than his appearance, everything else was the same. Tang Qingyu and the others left as well, leaving only Xiaobai and Li Lingtian in the room. Can you not transform into my appearance? Li Lingtian replied with a wry smile. Temph, who would have thought? I'm a beautiful dragon lady. I've only become like this after following you for a long time. Besides, I'm a girl. I just have a little imagination like you. Xiaobai said unwillingly, but she was laughing in her heart. It was very imaginable for her to follow him. Looking at Li Lingtian's face that was pretending to be unhappy, she was smiling inside. All right, I don't want to fight with you anymore. It's too embarrassing. Li Lingtian closed his eyes and sat cross-legged after he had finished speaking. He did not dwell on the matter to prevent himself from being distracted. The spaceship flew at a high speed while Li Lingtian cultivated and comprehended his cultivation method and alchemy technique. There were only 66 divine feather pills in the first place. After giving out 20 pills, there were only 41 left. Moreover, during this period of time, Xiaobai and the others had used up 10 pills. There were not many left now. If he wanted to quickly increase the cultivation of his demon beasts, he had to refine a 7th grade divine feather pill. Moreover, he had already reached the rank of martial honor, so 5th grade pills had no effect. He could only use a level 6 pill. As long as he had a long time, he could also refine a level 7 pill. Moreover, he still had a level 7 great recovery pill in his body that he had not refined. If he refined the great cyclic pellet, his cultivation would definitely be able to increase. Moreover, he had obtained 3 great cyclic pellets during the last alchemist grand meeting. These great cyclic pellets were good things for increasing cultivation. He had to refine them as well. Time passed day by day. In the blink of an eye, 1.5 months had passed. Qinglan City was already in sight, and the flying ship had landed 100 miles away from Qinglan City. The group of people flew towards Qinglan City at a moderate speed. He was familiar with Qinglan City, and with the presence of the Lan clan and the Yi clan, he did not need to fight for anything. After entering Qinglan City, Li Lingtian and the rest returned to the mansion while Yi Feng went to handle the matters Li Lingtian had instructed him to do. Naturally, Li Lingtian would not let him do it for nothing. He did not want to take advantage of others when it came to purchasing materials, so he gave Yi Feng 10 billion spirit stones at once. Mu Yu was excited to see Li Lingtian return. During this period of time, the entire Kang continent was in an uproar. The first alchemy saint of the Kang continent, Li Lingtian, had destroyed the Defy family. He killed a 7th Sky Supreme Realm warrior with one move and died in the end. But not long after, he showed up again. He was a Supreme Realm warrior who had broken through to the Martial Emperor realm. He killed hundreds of Supreme Realm warriors of Defy family with one move. Such a shocking move had stunned countless forces in the Azure continent. A Martial Emperor killed a 7th level Supreme Realm warrior in a second, and over 100 Supreme Realm warriors of the Defy family. Furthermore, Li Lingtian was only a First Heaven Supreme Realm. He was a 19-year-old First Heaven Supreme Realm, a 19-year-old Sacred Alchemist, and a 19-year-old Honorary Elder of the Alchemist Guild. The forces in Qinglan City were also shocked. Fortunately, Li Lingtian did not offend him when he was in Qinglan City. Otherwise, the forces in Qinglan City would be finished. The Defy family was one of the 10 great families in the Azure continent, with more than 500 of them, but they were all killed just like that. Although Li Lingtian had left Qinglan City's mansion, no one dared to cause trouble there. The servants in the mansion were shocked when they heard about Li Lingtian's deeds. Now that Li Lingtian had returned, they were all excited. With Li Lingtian overseeing the mansion, the entire Qinglan city had to lower their heads in front of him. "Greetings, young master." Mu Yu led all the servants to pay their respects to Li Lingtian. When Li Lingtian left, he gave Mu Yu millions of spiritual stones in return for her to build a mansion. "Forget it." Li Lingtian waved his hand dismissively. He did not need these formalities, but he understood that it was not appropriate for him to reject the weak sincerity in front of the strong. Moreover, he needed a powerful cultivation base now, so he could not be bothered to waste time with these servants. In the following period of time, he could not cultivate seriously. The news of his return to Qinglan City had spread throughout the city. Countless powerhouses from the major forces and clans had come to visit him. In the past, they were trying to curry favor with Li Lingtian, but when the time came, they could seek Li Lingtian's help in alchemy. But now, Li Lingtian's power was terrifying. The Dishi family was easily wiped out. Who else in Qinglan City could resist him? After a full month, the number of visitors decreased and Li Lingtian announced his seclusion. Li Lingtian spent the rest of his time cultivating while he studied the cultivation method and pill formula. He spent most of his time studying the blueprints because he still had to build an even more powerful warship. The level of this warship had already left the category of warships. It was a powerful aircraft carrier like in his previous life, a real aircraft carrier. 3 months had passed, and his first-level martial honored realm had reached its peak. However, he still did not dare to refine the medicinal power of the recover pill in his body. However, during this period of time, his gains were not small either. At least, he had comprehended the pill formulas for the Grade 7 Divine Feather Pill and Grade 7 Great Cyclic Pill. However, the materials required were extremely precious. All kinds of god arts had also been upgraded. More importantly, the blueprint of the aircraft carrier had been completely constructed. Furthermore, countless materials were gathered. In 3 months, Yi Feng, the Lan clan, and the Yi clan had searched for more than half of the Azure continent. He had used up more than 40 billion spirit stones, and there were still many ordinary materials that were not included. Yi Feng, gather all the blacksmiths and array masters within 1,000,000 miles. Find 2,000 martial king realm martial artists within a month. Li Lingtian led Yi Feng to the living room of the mansion and spoke directly. Immediately, Yi Feng was also shocked. There were at least 8,000 array masters and armament masters within 1,000,000 miles. Why did he need so many array masters and armament masters? It couldn't possibly be forging a saint weapon or a divine weapon. Moreover, forging a saint weapon or a divine weapon was not something that could be done with just a large number of people. This was because to achieve saint weapons or divine weapons, one needed a divine array master and a divine weapon refinement master. Even so, they might not be able to forge them. However, he did not dare to ask further. Furthermore, Li Lingtian had purchased 40 billion worth of materials during this period of time. He had used countless methods to obtain these materials. Although it seemed like 40 billion was used, the true value was definitely more than 40 billion. Even 80 billion was reasonable. Most of the time, the materials obtained were forcefully obtained. The materials that cost 10,000 spirit stones were only used for 2,000 to 3,000. Your subordinate will do as you say. I will definitely complete it within a month. Yi Feng was curious and filled with anticipation. He would like to see what Li Lingtian was planning to do with such fanfare. In his heart, the young master of this young man was almost omnipotent. Moreover, his strength was shocking and he had all kinds of magical methods. This was the first time he had collected materials with such great fanfare. He must be trying to refine something magical. Expel all the warriors within 10,000 miles of the Qinglan Peak. After Yi Feng's reply, Li Lingtian pondered for a moment before he spoke again. This time, his words shocked Yi Feng. The Qinglan Peak was the place with the densest spiritual energy in Qinglan City. There were countless experts cultivating there. It was definitely not an easy thing to clear out all the martial artists within 10,000 miles. In this way, he would definitely offend all the experts. Is there a problem? Li Lingtian asked coldly when he saw Yi Feng's expression. Chapter 361, Chapter 361, Building a Warship, 1. Chapter 361, Building a Warship, 1. Yi Feng's heart sank when he saw the change in Li Lingtian's expression. Young master, there are countless experts within 5,000 kilometers of the Green Mist Peak. If we expel them all, we will definitely offend all the experts. Yi Feng opened his mouth and expressed his concerns. Moreover, if he were to expel all the experts of the Green Mist Peak, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. At that time, it would be impossible for him to keep a low profile. Do as I say. Pass down my order. Within 10 days, all the warriors of the Green Mist Peak are to evacuate. They will bear the consequences themselves. Li Lingtian said coldly. In a world where the strong were respected, you could start a business by giving him a little face. Only a fierce method could put pressure on those warriors who wanted an inch and a mile. He did not want to offend all the martial artists, but sometimes, even if he offended all the martial artists in the world, so what? This subordinate will do it now. Yi Feng nodded in reply. Seeing that Li Lingtian did not say anything else, he bowed respectfully and left. Li Lingtian also closed his eyes and meditated to rest. Because when the time came, he would go to the Green Mist Peak and use an array to confine the inside of the Green Mist Peak. He would create an array within 10,000 miles. Otherwise, other experts would see the movements inside. Even though a formation that was 10,000 kilometers in size was a huge project, it was nothing compared to the heaven-locking formation. As long as he could confine the area within 10,000 miles of the Qinglan Peak with a formation, he wouldn't have to worry about external experts causing trouble. Following that, countless array masters and weapon refiners gathered together, as well as the martial king disciples who had been carefully selected. Although they did not know what Li Lingtian wanted to do, they felt honored to be working for him. After a day of hard work, Li Lingtian finally managed to craft a combat technique for a radius of 10,000 miles around Qinglan Peak. Following that, he brought along 1,000 formation masters, 3,000 armament masters, and 2,000 martial kings. After entering Qinglan Peak, Li Lingtian took out the blueprint of the aircraft carrier he was going to build for the refiners and array masters to study. Actually, they didn't need to comprehend it, they just needed to familiarize themselves with it. This was because there were as many as 100,000 arrays on this aircraft carrier. The weapon refinement master led the 2,000 martial kings to familiarize themselves with each other. This was because everyone was here to forge an item, a super item. Li Lingtian was also the main person in charge of this project. He did not want the construction of the aircraft carrier to fail. Tang Qingyu and the rest were also called to Qinglan Peak by Li Lingtian to settle down. Once everything was done, they activated the restriction on Qinglan Peak. If he didn't forge this item, he wouldn't be able to leave the Green Mist Peak. Every process has to be done with extreme seriousness. Our young master said that if we do well, everyone will be given a pill to advance a realm. Each martial king will be given a supreme grade profound armament, and each martial arts grandmaster and martial emperor will be given an emperor armament. Yi Feng looked at the thousands of experts who were busy patrolling every day. They had to check every step carefully. Furthermore, there were 4 heaven-grade artifact refiners and 5 heaven-grade array masters. As long as there was something wrong, he would let the qualified array masters and artifact masters check. There were 100 blacksmiths and array masters patrolling with him. These people guaranteed that there would be no flaws in every step. Even if it was just a small corner, he would have a heaven-grade array Dao master and weapon refinement master confirm it. Young master, this battleship you built should be used to deal with super families and forces, right? Ling Hao said respectfully to Li Lingtian. As a heaven-grade weapon refinement master, he admired Li Lingtian greatly. Furthermore, Li Lingtian was a master of weapon refinement almost instantly. In fact, there were some areas where Li Lingtian's words had resolved the shackles on his path of refining. He understood that this young master had not comprehended the Tao of artifact refining. If he wanted to enter the Tao of artifact refining, he would definitely be a super grandmaster. How many times have I told you? This isn't a warship, it's an aircraft carrier. You'll know what power is when the time comes. You'll be famous in the divine martial continent because of this aircraft carrier. Li Lingtian said calmly. He was looking forward to the completion of this aircraft carrier. It would shock the Kang continent and even the divine martial continent. Ling Hao blushed at Li Lingtian's words. Li Lingtian had stated several times that they were building aircraft carriers, but he could not change his mind. He insisted on calling the aircraft carriers warships. Young Master is using an array to absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. He is using some kind of power source as the core to increase its power to a terrifying level of destruction. I believe that the power of this aircraft carrier will also kill a supreme realm expert. Shangguan Yundao also had a respectful expression on his face because he was an array master. Only he knew how powerful an array master was. However, this young man in front of him was a magical holy array master. What kind of concept was a holy array master? It was an existence that surpassed all array masters. Even a divine array master was required to create a heaven-level array formation. Coupled with the blueprint of an aircraft carrier, this was the first time that the divine martial continent had seen and heard of such a structure. Shangguan Yundao was a heaven-grade array master. Although he couldn't build such an aircraft carrier alone, he could see some clues. You guys, look further in the future. A martial honor is like an ant in front of my aircraft carrier. Even a martial emperor would vanish into thin air if he's not careful, let alone a mere martial honor. Li Lingtian looked at the array masters and refiners in disdain. He was still confident about his aircraft carrier. This was a material worth 40 billion spirit stones. Including the value of the labor and the real materials, it was definitely worth 100 billion. If an aircraft carrier built with 100 billion yuan was used to deal with a martial honor, it would be a waste of talent. Young Master is right. If Young Master had focused on array Dao, he would definitely have become the #1 true Grandmaster in the divine martial continent. Shangguan Yundao replied respectfully. He did not feel awkward about Li Lingtian's lecture and felt honored because he had learned a lot from Li Lingtian. If anyone were to see the heaven-grade array master who was so awe-inspiring outside acting like this in front of Li Lingtian, their jaws would drop in shock. As long as you study hard, I will make you the noblest array master and weapon refinement master in the divine martial continent. Li Lingtian closed his eyes and meditated to rest after he finished speaking. Although he did not know how to refine weapons, he had some understanding of the principles of refining. Furthermore, his new techniques were something that these weapon refiners were unaware of. As for the array Dao, with the existence of the divine array diagram, he could control more because of the increase in his cultivation. At that time, he could use ancient divine arrays, and even ancient forbidden arrays. Ordinary arrays were not easy to create. Following that, the 4 heaven-grade array masters and 5 heaven-grade weapon refiners patrolled the area every day to resolve some problems. If they were unsure of anything, they would ask Li Lingtian to help them. There was no problem with refining because this aircraft carrier only needed to be strong. Defense and attack were the array master's business. However, in the process of forging, the array master and the refiner worked together because the 100,000 arrays were all integrated into the aircraft carrier. Time passed day by day, and half a year had passed. In the past half a year, the green mist peak would occasionally rumble, but no one knew what was going on inside. Countless experts in Qinglan City were extremely curious, but with the confinement of the array, their divine senses could not enter at all. On this day, Li Lingtian gathered the Lan clan and Yi clan's martial honor powerhouses and invited some powerful individual cultivators to Qinglan City. There were 60 martial honors and 120 martial emperors. The cultivation of these martial artists was extremely powerful. However, Li Lingtian began training these powerhouses to control the aircraft carrier's attacks and protect it. The experts of the Qinglan City were training in secret. The shocking spiritual energy fluctuations in the Qinglan Peak. In the 7th month, the green mist peak quieted down. Countless martial kings were constantly polishing and cleaning up. The array masters and artifact masters began to inspect the place carefully. They had to inspect every single spot 100 times. Then, every array master and refiner inspected the huge aircraft carrier. With the reports from Ling Hao and Shangguan Yundao, all the warriors, array masters, and weapon refiners had left the aircraft carrier. Li Lingtian led 4 array masters and 5 refiners into the aircraft carrier. He began to build the core power array and attack array for the aircraft carrier. The 4 array masters were completely stunned when they saw Li Lingtian's hands waving as mysterious and powerful array formations appeared one after another. 9 palaces, 8 trigrams attack and defense formation. 9, return to the heavens and destroy the gods. Ancient heaven locking formation. Dominating heaven mystic light formation. Myriad spirit returning array. Divine earth formation. Li Lingtian flicked his fingers and the divine array diagram emitted a magical glow. One by one, magical arrays were formed in front of Li Lingtian. Even though Ling Hao and the others did not know much about array Dao, they were still shocked by the array Li Lingtian displayed. In front of such an array, even if they were supreme realm experts, they felt small and weak. Shangguan Yundao and the other 3 were even more stunned. Their faces were filled with intoxication and excitement. Which of these arrays was not an astonishing existence? Yet, it was so easy for Li Lingtian to control them. Yes. Beads of sweat rolled down Li Lingtian's face. After a full day, Li Lingtian's face was filled with fatigue. Finally, the last spell was cast and the array was completed. However, Li Lingtian's face was filled with excitement because this was the birth of an aircraft carrier. With a flick of his divine sense, a 5th-tier demonic beast inner core appeared. At the same time, hundreds of high-grade spirit stones appeared, and the array formation was activated. A magic crystal appeared on the array altar, and all the arrays were activated. With an earth-shattering boom, an aircraft carrier that was 10,000 meters long, 5,000 meters wide, and 500 meters tall floated up. The huge aircraft carrier was as powerful as a mountain range. Its destructive aura impacted countless martial artists. The aircraft carrier had a total of 18 floors, and each floor had 5,000 rooms, which could accommodate nearly 100,000 experts. However, the top 3 floors were Li Lingtian's private property and no one was allowed to go up. It was a paradise for cultivation. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,